The opinions expressed by tonight's guest do not represent the opinions or position of Spaced Out Radio, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with SOR Media. Listener discretion is advised.
Oh man, there's got to be something to listen to on this dial.
This message is being broadcast by the Department of Defense of the Republic. At 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, multiple unidentified objects were confirmed to have entered Earth's atmosphere. It is speculated that these objects are of extraterrestrial origin. The broadcast will quiet at this time for your safety.
Welcome to Spaced Out Saturdays as we light the void with Joe Root on Spaced Out Radio.
Ties we had formed, told all the lies to myself, while sleepwalking through it all.
You can follow Joe on Twitter at Lighting the Void, on Facebook at Lighting the Void, and you can call into tonight's show at 501-777-5631. You can also follow Joe at spacedoutradio.com.
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as done.
Remain seated, please. Permanecer sentados, por favor.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Why don't you talk into the microphone? I got a backup mic right here. Check 1, 2. Testing, testing. Yeah, they both working, and guess what? They don't like no feedback. What's up?
Now, let's fire the show up and light the void on Spaced Out Saturdays with your host, Joe Root.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Saturday tonight. I'm your humble host, Joe Root, and it's good to have you with us. Good to be here on this June 2nd, lovely night. Thank you all for joining us wherever you're listening from across the World Wide Web or on our affiliate stations. And we always like to mention those affiliate stations right when we start the show. WQEE 99, Rock the Key down in Noonan, Georgia. Also, the United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM in New Orleans. All across the World Wide Web. We're also live on spacedoutradio.com, Spreaker, and KTLK Digital Broadcasting, the Fringe FM. Actually, the Fringe FM has run over just a little bit, so we'll be joining them in a few minutes. And that music you're hearing is Ron Bumblefoot THAL, formerly of Guns N' Roses, currently of Art of Anarchy, and Bumblefoot is the official sound of Spaced Out Radio. Also, you can check the show out on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can follow me on Twitter at Lighting the Void. You can subscribe to the new YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio. We're also on iHeartRadio in the USA. We are on TuneIn, and you can download the shows from iTunes, and of course, the website is spacedoutradio.com. And if you go to patreon.com for as low as $1 a month, you can become a patron of Spaced Out Radio. Now, if you want to take part in the show, you can sign into one of the chat rooms on Spreaker, on the UPRN chat room, on Facebook at the SOR Space Travelers Club, also on Twitter if you go to hashtag Spaced Out Radio, and then I'll get to your questions in there as well. Or if you're in the Fringe FM chat room, we'll be checking that out too. The call-in number for tonight, because we're going to do just kind of an open show, and I'll tell you why just here in a minute. But the call-in number for tonight is 501-777-5631. Those lines are going to stay open throughout the whole show, and I want to hear your little voices, so go ahead and call. There won't be any rush to get off the phone. I will not be rushing you to get off the phone tonight because I want to hear your whole story if you call in. So that being said, if you are calling and you get that busy signal, you just keep calling in. Before I move on, I want to mention Leslie Mitchell Clark's Contact TV, also in Tim Doyle's UFO Seekers, is pretty awesome too. You can check all that out at spacedoutradio.com. Last Saturday, we had Rich Giordano on, and I told you guys that we were going to have Marla Freeze on this weekend, but the deal is I got my dates mixed up. Marla is actually going to be coming on the 9th. And so that's usually not a problem. Usually what we can do is we can get another guest to fill in. No issue there. But I had a pretty tragic event happen at the house that kind of took up all of my time. And for those that you follow in the chat room, I'll tell you like this. It's always got something to do with the cat, but I'll just give you a long story short. So the cat gets up in the car, and I don't know he's in the car. I take off to the store, just so you know, because I'm going to get this out once. I don't want to have to keep repeating this because I don't even like repeating the story, to be honest with you. But so the cat is in the car, and I don't see it. And so at this point, I'm driving down the road. I have no idea Leo's in my car. He goes out the back window because I've got all the windows down, and now he's on the hood of my car. I still don't know he's on the hood of my car. I'm going about 35, maybe 40. And as I see this cat walking down my windshield while I'm moving down the road, I begin to panic a little bit. So I tried to grab him, and I tried to slow down to, not a complete stop, but just keep slowing down until the car finally stops so he doesn't fall. The problem with that is Leo hates cars. He hates them. And as I kept slowing down, he kept getting braver and braver. And he worked his way towards the front of the car. And at this point, he looked like he was going to jump. So I had no choice but to stop the car immediately, which kind of threw him. And as he tumbled onto the concrete, I'm watching my best friend tumble onto the concrete right in front of my eyes, knowing it's my fault. And then he runs off in the woods, and for the past few days, I'd been looking for him. We finally found him and took him to the vet. And I don't want to go to the extent of his injuries because I'll start bawling like a little girl. But he's at the vet now, and he's going to be okay. It's just going to take some time to heal. And so that's why I didn't you didn't see any flyers up. You didn't see anything happening of that nature. I was extremely beat up from the woods. I've only gotten maybe 8 hours of sleep in the past 3 days, but I love Spaced Out Saturday so much. The show must go on. It has to go on. So I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need all of you to call in if you can, when you can, and share your stories with us. But also, I have a couple of good friends here with me. All of you know Everett very well, so Everett's here with us. Thank you, Everett, for coming on the show. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And Corinne Wilson, another good friend of mine, who better known as Cor. That's the way I call her. She's the occult priestess is here with me as well. So we'll get some good banter going on. And I want to just go ahead and apologize to you guys. This is not normally like me. But then again, this might turn out to be a lot of fun. Usually I don't do stuff like this. So it's all good. So thanks, Corinne, for coming on the show.
Thank you, Roop Dog. I'm glad to be here holding your hand.
Well, I'm glad you're here, too. I really am. And I think that maybe... I don't know. A lot of people told me not to, you don't have to go on tonight, but I'm not one of those people. I think the show must go on at all times, No comment, I guess, huh? Everett, did we lose Everett?
I don't know.
I'm here.
Oh.
Are you guys just waiting on me?
If
this is how the show is going to be for the next 3 hours, we're in trouble.
Come on, Everett, chime in there.
Oh, I can usually chime in.
Yeah, so, I mean, you guys were telling me that I shouldn't do the show. I don't know if you even told me anything of that nature, Everett.
I said, have you considered? Because I knew you were probably a workaholic.
Never. I've never considered it. Yeah. The only thing that would make me not do the show would be as if it was worse than what really happened,
And for the record, you could be in an ambulance having a heart attack, and I would not suggest not doing the show.
Yeah, you're right.
Everett knows you really well.
Yeah, he does. And so for you guys that are just joining on the Fringe FM, I really appreciate it. We had the server ran over, but the Existence of Strange Things had their debut over there on the Fringe FM, and they really knocked it out of the park. But I will say, Saturday night, this is the place to hang out, for sure. There's a lot of shows out there to choose from, but on the weekend, this is where you want to hang out. Spaced Out Radio, the Fringe FM. So a lot of things have been on my mind lately, guys, and first thing I'm going to ask, and I know Everett's going to get a little bit rational. You're going to be the rational guy here, and I need you to do this, but the psychic and magical attack issue, I'm not going to say that I'm under attack, but I kind of feel like I am. Now, what I'm going to ask you, Corin, is how do you decipher if you're just being paranoid or if it's real? How do you tell the difference?
Well, just call me Cor.
Cor.
And actually, I just had a vision, which is extremely impractical. And I saw a rune when you're talking about this, and it is Tyr, Tyr. It is the spiritual warrior rune. So please look that up. It looks like a pointing arrow, pointing upward. But it is about being a spiritual warrior. So I would say you're onto something.
I don't feel much like a warrior, though. Because I'm telling you, I look like I just was dropped in a pile of glass from all the thorns that cut me.
What you just went through was horribly traumatic.
I feel like a wuss, though, because it's my cat, you know? Like, it's just a cat. That's how I was raised.
That is your love. Please. I don't care if it's a tree or a cat or a gym shoe. You love that. So it's love.
Oh, Joe, if you start loving gym shoes...
I won't judge him, though.
Yeah. Well...
But is that not masculine to love your freaking cat? Is that not a manly thing to do?
Well, the problem is where I'm from is there's people out here that they brag about using animals for target practice. And
wow.
I don't know.
That is so far from love.
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm getting real tired of hearing stuff like that. And it makes me want to leave Arkansas. But then I'm thinking, mate, that's probably not just an Arkansas thing. There are messed up people all over the place that don't have a heart. You know, they really just don't. I don't think it's just here.
But it's not something that you need to interact with even as a culture. I moved out of Ohio/Kentucky to Los Angeles because I wanted to be around more creative people. It doesn't mean that they're better people, but they're a different flavor.
Right. Well, Everett, we're going to talk a little bit of occult and magic and stuff, and I've never asked you what you thought about that. I've never asked Everett Thiemer what he thinks about magic or the occult, or if you even think that it's real.
Oh, I think there's definitely something to it. I haven't studied it nearly as deep as you, but yeah, I have an interest in it. I'm actually kind of excited to learn a few things, hopefully tonight. So, you know, it's an interesting topic. And as a skeptic, there are times where I can go back and forth, but I've had experiences with things in the realm of the occult and magic that kind of force me to question the idea of being a skeptic about it.
Like what? Can you give me an example? Just one?
Well, you know, you had talked about like attachments and things like that, and sort of that bad omen kind of thing that sometimes seems to surround people. And I will tell you that there have been some times where it almost feels like somebody's following me around and just pushing a dark cloud right over me. Because, and I know we've all experienced it, where you have one thing after another kind of go wrong. And when you look at it from a statistical point of view, it doesn't make sense that it can happen. But then if you kind of step back and look at it, you know, I hate to say it, but there have been times where, oh God, I really am a bit uncomfortable saying this, but I've wondered if somebody has like put a curse or a hex on me.
I think it's absolutely real. There used to be a time when I would laugh at something like that, but now I know better. I know better now. I think it's totally real. I was kind of thinking, Everett, that you would giggle at it a little bit, actually. I figured
I
you
used
were a
to.
pragmatist a little bit.
Back in the day, I really used to. But
Everett, you're not a Virgo, are you?
No.
What's
No,
your
I'm
sign?
there. I'm a Capricorn.
Oh.
Okay, Earth. You're still an Earth sign. Practical.
Yeah, I'm pretty practical.
Nothing wrong with practical.
In the book, though, I've seen like in lots of books that talk about psychic and magic self-defense where they talk about that, where pets will come under attack, and it'll always be like some type of accident. For instance, I'm not the kind of guy that's I always check my car and stuff. If Leo's not in the house, I always look. I'm always, but my mind was really just spinning, and he wasn't on top of the car, and I just jumped in and took off, which is kind of what happens. This is going to be kind of hard to explain, but this is what happens when people get into accidents, when they jump in their car and before they look behind them, they back up and they hit somebody. Just common stuff you forget to do, or checking your blind spot, things like that. But the core and the fundamental of the attack is to the psyche. In other words, if someone can distract you, they can cause these types of things to happen. And I've looked in several magical diaries online of people in books of shadows where the pets were one of the number one targets of people that were under, psychic or magical attack. And that just freaked me out reading it.
Yeah, that's something that I don't have to read about. It's something that happens to my clients a lot throughout the years. So the animals are always dealt with. I need to know what their animals are and what their names are. And sometimes I ask for pictures because I protect them as well as the family. They're little portals,
Well, he's in the hospital and he's being fed. I'll tell you how bad it is. They're having to feed him with a tube right now.
Through his neck.
Yeah. So it's not.
And then you have to do that at home.
Yeah, when he gets home, I'm going to have to do it. But see, his lip had become degloved. So when I saw him, God, it was so hard when I saw him because his mouth was just hanging open. And the dude, still managed to meow and rub up against me and purr. Like he's a soldier, man, I'm telling you. And I was just so freaked out when I saw it. I thought, oh, my God, I've disformed my cat. He's never going to be the same again. He's always going to be afraid of me. It was just a bad experience all the way around. And I took him to the best vet in Little Rock, and that guy is amazing. They're keeping him overnight. They fixed his lip, and they're saying that he's going to heal up good. And I can't believe it. There is something to that whole 9 lives things with Cat. That is very true because some of the stuff he's been through, I just don't know how he's been through it. And this wasn't an issue where, people are like, well, why don't you just leave the cat indoors? This wasn't one of those things. My cat doesn't really leave anywhere. He doesn't go anywhere hardly unless he's on a tomcatting or something. He was in my car. He was just waiting to go inside to be fed. And I destroyed his whole night and the next day, and I can't let it go.
Can you also see where your cat is showing you the reflection of how awesome you are as well? If animals are like their owners, then can't you see that you're that strong, just as strong as your cat?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see what he's saying.
Yes.
You can't keep this cat inside, John. You might as well give up on that one. Because that's like, he's not, if you cage him up, then might as well not have him. He's not an indoor cat at all, but he doesn't go, I live out in the country. This isn't the suburbs where he's going to go across the street and get nailed by something. I'll tell you this, the reason why he's hurt is because of me. It's not because of any outside force. But I kind of think it was a psychic attack. I really do. And I don't think I'm a targeted individual or anything. But I think people can psychically attack you when they're just thinking about you negatively. If they focus on you negatively enough, it can happen,
Yeah, but Joe, you said that you typically or usually check your car before you
every single
go
time.
anywhere.
Yep.
How many is he often sleeping in your car or
Nope.
often laying in your car?
No, so sometimes he'll lay on top of the car. Because he likes the cold. Cats, they like that cold, hard surface, and he'll lay on top of the car. You can't miss him when he does that, and he just waits because the studio. So my house is out here. The studio's out on the. It's you walk down the sidewalk and then you can get to the studio. But he knows I'm in here, and he just waits on the car and waits for me to come out. This time he was in the car. He wasn't on my car. Which doesn't make a lot of sense to me unless he chased something in there. But I'd felt like I'd been under attack for a few days and done absolutely nothing about it. And I had gotten off the phone with John Brisson. I was talking to him, that guy from FixYourGut.com, and we were talking magic. We were talking about those things and about the war that's going on in the mystery schools and stuff. And I'll be damned if that... It's just too crazy, But I still blame myself 100%. I can't. To me, I'm a pragmatist too. I think it was all me. I still do.
I really don't understand logically how you are logically blaming yourself for the cat's own free will.
Well, I don't know. Do you understand what I'm saying though, Everett? Like as a man, I felt like I could have controlled the situation better. Maybe I could have slowed down different, or maybe I could have grabbed him.
I
or
can
something,
understand. I can understand thinking you could have controlled the situation a little better, but I don't think you can. I really don't think you can blame yourself for the situation. And once that cat was on the move, you did the best you could. With the little reaction time that you had, I don't think you can blame yourself for it, but I understand the idea of blaming yourself for it.
It's emotional. It's not logical.
There's been a lot of that stuff going on now. Like, Kevin Smith was just on the Rogan show, and they talked about his animal dying and death, right? Fisher's mom is in the hospital. Everybody send a shout out to Fisher. He listens to the show a lot. I don't know if he's in the chat room or not, but she's in the hospital. And
Wow.
it's been one of those things where I don't know if it's just me, but it's felt really dark this past week. And I'm all about good vibes and, staying positive and love and light, just like everybody else. But sometimes, the other side of nature just kind of, it's doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It does its thing too,
Well, do you guys keep up with the astrological weather of what's going on with the collective of the planet? Because there is a lot of darkness right now.
What do you
And they're
mean?
explaining it. Like, it's almost like reading the newspaper, only it's the real media. You go to YouTube and look up astrology for this month and pick your favorite astrologer or tarot reader or oracle reader. Get into the psychic art people because they know what's going on and they can predict the emotional and mental weather for the month.
I want to know if anybody's having any experiences like that during these times. Just not just get all negative and talk about negative stuff, but I like to validate things. So if you call in, the number's 501-777-5631. That's 501-777-5631. We're all just kind of hanging out here tonight. Usually I try to get the best conversation and the best guest you never thought I would get on and try to make a really awesome show for you. But sometimes it's just fun to hang out. And I'm hanging out with probably two of the coolest people I know right now. So it's going to be fun.
I'd like to give Dawn a shout out in the chat room.
I get the Dons confused. There's so many. We have like 3 or 4 Dons in there.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of sunshine.
But, there is a message in the chat room about invoking angelic evocation. I will tell you that I didn't really want to talk about this, but I will. So after the second day when I didn't find them, Ramon had reminded me too, hey, maybe you should talk to to Uriel, or some people call him Ariel, but the angel of earth, the archangel that protects earth, and asked for help. You did that before, and it worked. And I'm telling you, I begged. I've never begged an angel before, but I did this time. And I went out, and that's when I found him less than 10 minutes from that. But I also found out later, too, that my dad and my son were both prayed, too, because I told them that I did, and they just were both kind of shocked.
Wow.
They all did, too.
Oh, wow. That's beautiful. See, that's the opposite of a psychic attack.
It seems like a big coincidence, I know, but if you guys were out here if you've seen the woods that I live in and how much of it we searched, most people would have given up. But, I'm just telling you, most people would have given up, but we didn't.
That's because you're magical.
From AZ, right. So, yeah, I think we just got to learn. Like, I believe in astrology more now, but I get confused about the tropical side, Core, because the tropical side is like the new side based on the precession of the equinox. Like, they're kind of making up for that. But the old sidereal astrology, where the actual fixed the stars are that relate to the signs. And so you got some mystics or magicians using tropical astrology, and some of them are using sidereal, and it's like two different things. But and then they both kind of work. Now, how do they all work if they're two different systems? It doesn't make sense to me. I'm definitely confused about that. I always have been.
That should make a lot of sense to you, given that the mystery schools are all different flavors of the same thing.
But how does that make? It doesn't make sense, because I'm an Aries in tropical, but in sidereal, I think I'm a Pisces or something. So how could they? That's two different signs.
Well, because when your feet are on the path to learn, you're guided. Like I was guided. I learned astrology from a teacher at age 17, and he said you have to pick the tropical or the sidereal time. You just have to pick it and hope you're right. And he was a really good teacher. And because he understood there's room for higher ups, God, spirit guides, to help you and guide you. You're not alone in all this, just a lone researcher in the desert. That's what guides are for.
Everything is I'm just saying, everything has been really negative. And the volcano erupting, they got a drone out there that revealed there's cracks all in this thing. So we're preparing for a time of massive die-off. And not to mention, they made a movie about Han Solo, and it just took a nosedive. I would think that Han Solo would be the best movie in the world, ever. They're
not creative anymore, man. Hollywood's just biting the bullet. Yeah, really.
Did you expect that, Everett?
I haven't seen the Solo movie yet.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is did you expect, like, a movie about Han Solo? I mean, that to me is like a dream. They made a movie about Han Solo, and this thing it's dying worse than any movie this year.
Worse than Han Solo and Carbonite.
It's been a tough week.
With Disney, though, you never know what direction they're going to go, and every now and then they take these stories and take them in a direction that the fans don't want. You have to remember that a lot of these fans are serious diehard Star Wars fans. And Disney doesn't always play up to what the fans expect.
That's so interesting, because Star Wars did become an officially recognized religion. And then, think about it, they changed churches to the Church of Disney.
623 area code, you're on the air.
Joe, it's Richie G.
What's up, Rich?
Hey, man, I had to call in because of the week I'm having and the thing I did today before your show. So, you know how you said you reached out, you were praying, doing whatever. I guess you were reaching out to get help.
Yeah.
Well, I really stopped praying to God and became an agnostic or an atheist over the years. But today, with all the bad things that happened to me, that started last Friday when you were on the phone with me and continued through yesterday, real bad stuff. I found an old chain that I used to wear when I prayed, and it had a gold necklace. It was like a gold necklace that my parents gave to me on my 13th birthday with a gold Jesus and platinum, like a gold cross with a platinum Jesus. Real nice gold cross that I used to wear, but it got ripped off in the fight. Well, it was together, so I must have gotten it fixed. So I said, this has got to mean something, because I was been asking for help. So I said, I'm going to do something different, because I used the Ouija board to try to contact the devil at one point, which I just quit doing because of all the bad things. And I reached out and I said, okay, enough playing games. I'm actually going to, God, I know if you're there, I'm going to believe in you. I'm going to give you not like one last chance, but I'm going to give an earnest effort and believe that there is a higher being. And it's really weird, because right after I'm wearing the necklace now, I put it back on, it fit, because it's me. And,
I totally forgot about that story you told me too. I know you don't want to talk about it on the air, but it's pretty much related to the one I told. So that just validates all this even more.
But there were so many coincidences and weird things that I've never experienced, because I'm always looking out for that stuff. Not like seeking it, but noticing it. Not very many coincidences have happened to me until just recently. And I had one big blow up yesterday, or Friday rather. Yeah, yesterday. And that was the end of it. And today I've already seen an increase in good vibes in my life. It's really strange how I don't know if it's mental, whatever it is. Maybe the universe is designed for humans to believe in God. And whether we believe it as the universal God or your own God, I think believing in something like that may have something to do with being in a better place. But then again, you get people praying in other parts of the world that are getting blown up overnight that pray. So I don't understand it. I'm going to give it a try.
I love your thought process on all this, man, because you're so honest about your thoughts. Not even worried about judgment. You're like one of my favorite people. You could care less who's right or who's wrong. You just, when you don't mind telling everybody or anybody what's on your mind. That kind of stuff's been on my mind too. Did you think you got your faith back now?
No, but I'm trying. I'm going to give it the effort, because I've been living a certain way for so long that it's going to take me a while to get back into it. So it'll take an effort. But once I get past, like anything else that's new again or new, it takes time to get used to. And hopefully I can, be on a path to better judgment and better place, in my mind and my soul.
Is it just perception, though?
I don't know.
It could be. Like, what I mean is are we just focusing on the negative stuff more during these times, or in bad things actually happening more? That's what I'm wondering.
I don't even see a cycle in my life. It's not like, every 3 years somebody dies. No, it's so random. And it has nothing to do with me. I think it's just the free will of the human. But to have something to grasp onto and to look up to and to feel that you're going to get some guidance, either spiritually, telepathically, however you absorb it, I think that's a good thing for us to have as humans.
Well,
I'd like to ask you guys, all three of you guys, please define coincidence.
Oh, what do you think I am, a dictionary?
One of you guys knows the answer, because you've all three have used the word coincidence.
I don't know the answer.
Like I was thinking of somebody that I haven't heard from in 25 years, and they Facebooked me.
25 years? Day. Oh, my God.
It was an
the necklace was a miracle, too. An ex-girlfriend.
It had to have been, because I thought somebody stole this, and I stopped looking for this necklace 20-something years ago. And there it was in the box. And it was in a box that I use all the time, and now I see it there?
That's a coincidence.
Where is it? I thought I lost it.
Actually, the Swiss doctor...
That's a sign of... Oh, go ahead.
Carl Jung coined the term synchronicity for this very reason.
Yeah, but didn't Carl Jung use psychology and on some of his clients to do bad things with them, too?
Oh, my God, I did not hear any of that. I don't know what...
Well, I mean, I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. His books were great, and so were Crowley's, but You know, I have a hard time trusting the psychologist. Can't believe I said what?
That's a coincidence that just happened. That baby in a bathwater saying. Now, I haven't heard that saying in years.
Why are you calling it coincidence?
Why is that a coincidence?
Good.
Because I haven't heard it in 3 years. Now I've heard it 3 times in 2 days.
Oh, you've heard it 3 times in 2 days. Okay.
Yes, it's very strange from like people not even in our lives, you know, not in the paranormal, just my mother said it. She never says that. And then my father said it at the dentist. I'm like, and then today I read it in a text message and you just said it. That's 4 times.
Thousands of acres are ablaze in New Mexico. You know, police shoot some knife-wielding man doing ritual with a snake in front of Planet Fitness. I've seen weird stuff happening all week, man. Just weird stuff.
Oh,
is this new to you, Joe? Because I remember the zombie guy eating somebody's face because he was on bath salts.
That was a long time ago. I remember that, though, wasn't it? How long ago was that?
I'm saying this shit's been going on. 2 years ago. It's not new.
2 years ago?
That was 2 years ago. Yeah, and that's what I was saying. All the planets are going to be on one side of the sun here in the next couple of weeks for about 5 weeks. I think it's June or July 31st through August.
Well, the 21st of June.
Through the August 25th, I think. Yeah, it's a while. But if the planets give off their own signal, I think it has to do with that.
I think you might be right.
All these cracks, all the cracks in the earth. They just found a 2-mile long crack in Arizona.
Jesus, just now? It just popped up.
Is there really a sinkhole in front of the White House? Is that real?
A what?
A sinkhole in front of the White House or on the White House lawn?
That sounds like bullcrap.
No.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't care to research it.
Like I say, Eric Markham says, I've been under attack as well. I've been having chest pains again for the last couple of days. That's not good, brother.
Wow. A lot of guys get that with their stress and anxiety. Yeah. And Tess and Nicole in the chat talked about the full moon mojo, which was just in Sagittarius. So that was the truth teller that we just had all over the world.
I can't believe you just said that. I bought a lighter and I thought it was white and it had Sagittarius on it.
Yeah, see, my spirit
come on. I mean, at what point does this become ridiculous, though?
This is the thing. We call it the cosmic wink. It's God saying hello. This is something that I write about, and it's one of my favorite things. This is how we get reached out to. But if you're just saying it's all coincidence and just being, completely throwing it out with the baby, then you're not going to have the faith. It can't grow. You can't water your garden with the faith because you're in logical mind saying this is not rational. Whenever was this world rational?
Yeah.
When religion started killing people, it became irrational.
Before humans.
I mean, look at this stuff that's happening with Roseanne. There's all kinds of weird stuff. I'm just saying this week has been weird in a bad way.
No, it's not going to be a week. It's going to be the rest of our lives. This is the show.
That's terrible. I don't want to think. If the rest of my life is like this week, I'm not leaving the house.
I barely leave the house.
My life has been pretty good for the most part, I could say.
Yeah, look.
It was from a previous excavation where the chat room's moving too fast. God, I hate that. Everett, I know you got a story, brother. Didn't your well just stop working?
Your well run dry, dude.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah, what's that got to do with coincidence or anything?
So that's what I'm saying. Just because bad things are happening doesn't mean that it's coming from a planet or something. I think bad things just happen.
Well, also, everything in your life can be looked at through dream symbology because that's how God speaks, through symbols. So if dude's well ran dry, that's an emotional issue because it has to deal with water. And if dude's heart is hurting, that is also an emotional issue. And a lot of masculine energy is being released into being more emotional. You had to cry this week, a lot, Joe, and that was needed. So you understand we are integrating the masculine and feminine, and we are becoming mental hermaphrodites.
What?
You know that is the goal of all magic.
What if
balance the
chest pain is just caused by high cholesterol?
What causes high cholesterol, but emotional issues?
Bacon.
Because I'm a Reiki master, they teach us this. Everything starts on a higher level and then breaks its way through the aura into sickness.
So
what came first, the chicken or the egg?
Right.
That's the best question ever.
I don't know. I don't even know if I should be doing a show right now, to be honest with you. Like, I feel that bad about things right now.
That's what they want you to do. You got to go through with it.
Who's they?
Who cares?
I think you do
Just go through and do the show.
I think I know you well enough to
whoever
say
they
for
are.
the people.
You guys like to talk at the same time. What'd you say, Rich?
I forget, but I think it's.
I forget.
Well, you said they, and I said, the people that control us. Whatever.
Yeah, who is that?
Well, I don't want to get into my theories in here, but I guess you do have 2
We
hours.
love your theories. Bring it.
I'll post the number again. It's not going to do any good. You guys that are asking me to post the number, why don't you call in? Right? There you go. There's a lot of people listening right now. I have
this ideal way of thinking how we are who we are. Like our soul. Now, is our soul an alien being, or is it the rebirth of an alien that used to be human, that our soul, like maybe at the 3rd trimester of a pregnancy when the heart and everything is formed, you are injected into that cocoon, the womb, and that is going to be your life. You're going to live as this person. So there's no soul in the embryo yet, but
That's right.
Maybe you get to choose it. We've heard of children who are very young, barely able to speak, saying, I chose you, Mommy. I picked you before I was born. How is that even possible to have that memory anyway? And how are they getting that idea into their head without reading any books about it or watching TV shows? So there might be some glimpses, right? But are they reincarnated?
This is pissing me off.
I like what he's saying.
This is what's confusing.
Cool.
No, this is pissing me off. I don't like all this. This is this is the problem. There's too much stipulation, too much speculation. Just like Rich is trying, he wants to figure this stuff out. I want to figure this stuff out. And all we're doing is guest stabbing. So we got one person guest stabbing and another person. We got so many people that are saying all of this spiritual stuff that's true, and there's no way to know it. You just have to pick. Well, you either believe it or not. Well, you're all telling different stories, so I got to pick one of you and believe you.
You want God to walk down the stairs and tell you what's going on. You want some kind of authority to tell you what's going on.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said at all.
Okay. What would satisfy you?
What's that, Rich?
But you see, my idea delves into why we have premonitions, why people can be psychic. So
you don't believe in psychics, though.
I don't, but some people can be, and I just haven't met them yet, Joe. But I'm just saying.
That's the first time I heard you say that.
Possibility. We could be injected into these. We could be injected into these bodies to live in this simulation of a life that isn't even real. This could all be. We could all be aliens living in a human, body, and then we can go and choose another species to live off of. After we live as a human. And do that soul of some other being.
Rich.
Because think about it.
I totally agree
if people can feel things and see things, maybe they're tapping into that computer or that life that we live in that makes them vulnerable to the psychic world. I don't know. That's just my theory on it.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna there's some other people trying to call in, but if they don't call, when I hang up the phone with you, if they don't call in, just call back. Because I love you.
Okay.
Oh. Rich Giordano.
What's that guy's name?
That's Rich Giordano. You got to.
All right.
Yeah. He does the Paranormal Code. So the phone lines are open. I know 2 people tried to call in, so just call back. Then I watch they won't. But no, I guess I'm just angry. I'm just tired of guessing and then talking to experts that say they're experts, but they've got nothing to show for anything except their mouth. That's it, you know? And so far, the only proof that we've got now is supposedly some videos that we're supposed to believe that the government's had. That's always been there. Always been. Those videos were out before the government said they were official, you know? Let's see, 587 area code. You're on the air.
Oh. Hey, Joe.
Hey, what's up? Who's this?
Hey, it's Dennis.
Hey, what's up, Dennis?
How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. It's good to hear from you.
Great. Well, then there were 3 here. Been listening. I felt I had to call in as I pet 2 of my cats here.
Oh, cool.
No. Let go. Thank you. Sorry, he doesn't want me to leave. I can identify with what you guys are talking about. You know, spirituality is okay as a comfort, but I don't think that you should ask it for every answer under the book, no matter what you believe in. And do you happen to remember Star Trek Generations?
Yeah, I mean, not every show, but I remember most of it.
Yeah, well, do you remember Data's cat, Spot, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, when the Enterprise crashed at the end, went out of control and crashed on the planet, climax, everything happens, the Enterprise destroyed, time changes again, Enterprise crashes again, everything's okay. Storylines all wrap up. At the end, Deanna Troi, counselor Deanna Troi, and Data are looking around his room, and she tells him, I have a faint life sign over here. And he goes and lifts a heavy beam. And he looks down, and there's Spot in a ventilation duct. And he picks up the cat, and he hugs him. And he then says, I think my emotion chip is malfunctioning. And she says, no. Deanna Troi says, no.
Deanna Troi, yeah.
Perfectly. Sometimes we just have to let our emotion be emotion. There is no answer to our emotion. That's who we are as human beings. And there's no answer to that. How we react is how we react as different people, how we were raised, how we live our lives. I believe that as a spiritual person, that you can have that spirituality in you to help you and comfort you. But don't look at it for every answer, because you have to go out there and help yourself first. You went out there and you just got all scarred up and bloodied by briars to find a cat. You found the cat. And you found that strength not only in yourself, but also with guiding spirituality. They were both there. I don't think you have to choose anything. You're going to have to decide what it is for yourself, what you believe, what was in your heart at the time. At the time, it was a friend in trouble, and you called out. Does it matter who answered?
No, just the result. That's all I wanted.
Yeah. We lost one cat one time, or we thought we did, until we found him later on in the damn wall.
Wow.
But I went around the neighborhood, and I was, frantic. I come into the room, feed the other cat, pour out, and here comes the other cat running behind the new place that we were in. And here's a damn hole in the wall. It was in the wall all the time.
Dennis, now, but see, you've had a pretty immaculate experience yourself, though. I mean, didn't you call in when Dark Waters was on the show and you were talking about climbing? That was such that's one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard. There was definitely something there that helped you, And when I'm in these situations, I don't know, I just don't feel like everything seems like a coincidence, I guess. But in your case, it definitely was not, you know? That's the difference to me. I don't know. I just get frustrated with it. I want to figure stuff out so bad, man, that I get frustrated with it. I'm frustrated with the truth movement. I'm frustrated with this community. I love my audience. I know why you guys are here. But I'm frustrated with this whole thing right now. And maybe it's just because of what's happened to me this week, but I've really thought about all of it here lately, you know?
I think you're being pushed to the edge for a very good reason. That's when all the good stuff comes. You hit a wall, you break. After the breakdown, you build up a new person.
In a sense, she is right, because, Joe, I told you once the story of how I survived a blizzard run in the prairies of Canada one time, hiking out there all alone in the middle for 9 hours through a blizzard, not knowing that they had closed both sides of the highway. I had to walk through 9 hours of blizzards, and I had to, think through minus 25 degree weather. And I don't know, when you have a chance to think about things to yourself and you're alone with yourself that way, I think, that's what you really need every so often. Time alone to think about what you want for yourself, not what others expect of you or even what you expect of yourself. Because chances are you don't even know what you want for yourself. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. And look, you guys know that anytime something's presented to me that it's been presented in that fashion, I always take it seriously. You know, I'm not this expert guy that's going to come teach and tell everybody and give you my point of view as if I'm an authority figure. You guys are really on the ride with me through all this. So I'm not perfect.
I think most of the others will agree with me that, I'm like what? Oh, okay. I'm a few years older than you, but you quickly find out that the answers don't stop, the questions don't stop, but the answers are just too many. You know what I mean? So, you do the best you can with each day as it comes, because, you're going to be searching for the same thing 15 years from now or 30.
I think the book, there's a book in the Bible called Ecclesiastes. He says, Joe just needs to get laid. I don't have problems there, Lynn. I'm actually frustrated with some of the stuff. Here's the thing. Ecclesiastes, right? They tell you the more knowledge you seek, the more sorrowful you become. And the best thing, and this is the Bible, but I'm only relating it as a book. But it states that the best thing that you can do is work really hard and enjoy the fruits of your labor. And that is the best thing you can do. And sometimes I wonder if that's the truth.
Yeah. What is hardworking versus
I think
slavery?
Every spirituality belief, every spiritual belief, every sect of spirituality has that type of message in it. I mean, it doesn't matter, it's said a different way, different stories, different times, basically all the same though. I've read so many of the books on religion and spirituality and meditation, and they all have the same stories. The stories are all the same.
Char, you're saying I said I hated religion. I don't think you will ever find a quote by me that says that. I could be wrong, but I would challenge anybody to find where I said I hated religion. I've never said that. Religion is a good doorway.
No, I don't think. That's a hard one, because I think people who say you hate religion are kind of speaking from their point of view without really getting to know you. I don't think that is. I don't think it's
not
proper.
Fair, Dennis. It's just not fair. No, but
we call it projection.
Yeah, so I can get where you.
Thank you. Yes, that's the word.
I can get where you would think that, because I hate what religion has. I hate the effect of religion.
Chairman Mao, I believe it was, said religion is poison.
Yeah, I mean, what it was designed for, and what's been taken over and what's really come of it is what I hate. The teachings themselves, and many religions, not just Christianity. There's a lot of teachings in a lot of religions that I hold pretty sacred.
We all know that every spiritual thing comes from the mystery schools. And then it was labeled and then used for power. That's
right. Infiltrated, used for control. But
yeah. So when we say religion, we really don't mean mystery school teachings. We mean what became of them.
Dennis, man, you don't call in a lot, so I really appreciate you calling in. I do, you know.
Oh, that's no problem.
I don't know.
I just think that you should, look also at yourself, not just spirituality or religion in quotations, just feel free to let it loose every once in a while. And if you get angry, get angry. It's okay.
Well, I'm angry. I can tell you
that.
I've felt really angry and frustrated this week. And the main thing, we got to take a break here, but the main thing that has been frustrating me is just dishonesty in the worst way. And not even little things that most people are passive about. I have a hard time letting go, like a radio show host. And I'm not using anybody as an example because I've heard several people do this. Several, like we got 150,000 listeners. No, you don't. You don't. Why are you saying that stuff? Like that stuff pisses me off. And what people are just what they fall for when a lot of the facts are right there in front of their face if they just dig in and look for themselves. And the more I'm quiet about it, the more I lay back and not say anything, the more this crap builds up inside of me,
I think you're going to have to look at your choices then. Again, it comes down to personal choices, how you're viewing it, you don't have to take on their problems. You don't have to take on what they're trying to pretend to be. I think you have to be who you are and just let them go on their merry way and worry about your own, spiritual growth. Your emotional growth as well.
Yeah, I just feel responsible for more than myself.
You're not responsible for anybody but your own self. And of course, the obvious, those you love,
I got you. Well, we're gonna take our first break here. You guys don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Keep the phone calls coming. I promise. I will not hang up on you. I'll let you go through.
You, Joe.
Later, Dennis. Thanks for calling
in.
Yeah.
The freedom to post what you want, when you want. That's the social media freedom you need. Social Media Freedom is the free app in your app store. No need to worry about going to jail or being shadow banned any longer. It's the freedom to say what you feel. The freedom to know Big Brother isn't watching. It's the way social media is supposed to be. Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free. Download from your app store today.
The first annual Caribou Paracon is happening September 28th to 30th in the 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Brought to you by the Canadian Society of Questers and Spaced Out Radio. Come listen to our featured speaker, Grant Cameron, along with Elizabeth Anglin, Paisley Town, Mike Moran, Eric Cooper, and more. It's a 3-day supernatural adventure at the Spruce Hills Resort and Spa. Tickets for the weekend are $150 Canadian. The Caribou Paracon, celebrating everything paranormal.
Find your escape where time has no limits. It's about living today and cherishing the heritage of yesterday. A spirit of adventure for what is new, with the nostalgia of the past. Your timepiece is a reflection of who you are. Life surrounded by beauty from the world around us to the soul within. EscapeWatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
365 days a year, we're in the field, investigating UFO sightings, talking to alien abductees, and visiting secret military locations like Area 51. We're UFO Seekers, official partner of Spaced Out Radio. Follow our daily search for the truth at UFOseekers.com or like us on social media. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
It's paranormal news at its finest. Welcome to The Encounter. at spaceoutradio.com. The Encounter online is SOR's trusted news source for everything weird and strange going on around the world. This is news editor Eric Markham. Our team of journalists are scouring the planet for those strange stories that rarely make the mainstream. No fear-mongering or fake news here. Head over to spaceoutradio.com and encounter the Encounter.
Want to learn more about aliens, cover-ups, conspiracies, cryptids, and the paranormal? All you have to do is tune in S4 as we take over Spaced Out Radio Night, starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, each and every Saturday night, right after Spaced Out Saturdays. Hi there, this is Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. Join me, Corey Ruiz, and friends as we discuss the hot topics of the night. It's fun, entertaining, and as dark as the night. Find us at spacedoutradio.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Do you want to know what's really going on in your world? Do you have questions about who you can trust in the mainstream media? Then look no further than the Rebel Planet. Come get the straight answers right here at spacedoutradio.com. Join me, Jamie Sexton, creator of Rebel Planet News, as I fill you in on the stories behind the stories. All you truth seekers, be sure to tune in to Rebel Planet on spacedoutradio.com the third Thursday of every month.
Heading to Vancouver and looking for some great nightlife? The Moose Vancouver is the place to be. Catch a game on one of the big screens or just come rock out to your favorite 80s and 90s hair bands. Great food starting at $6.95. The Moose Vancouver is open until 2 a.m. nightly. It's easy to find near the corner of Nelson and Granville. The Moose Vancouver is the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm going to take you for a ride every Sunday night on Spaced Out Sundays. I'm going to set up your week with some strange tales from across North America, from psychic readings, Sasquatch, UFOs, to the most haunted locations. Come join me at spacedoutradio.com starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, and let's get weird together. I'd love for you to join me. Spaced Out Sundays at spacedoutradio.com.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
Looking for nighttime adventure? Old school radio that delves into everything out of the norm? Then check us out at Spaced Out Radio. This is Dave Scott. Every Monday through Friday, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, we're going to take you on a wild ride ranging from conspiracies to true crime and every ghost, alien, and Sasquatch story in between. We're always live and we're always interactive with you. So join us at spacedoutradio.com, where together we own the night.
The opinions expressed by tonight's guest do not represent the opinions or position of Spaced Out Radio, syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with SOR Media. Listener discretion is advised. This is Spaced Out Saturdays with host Joe Roop. You can follow Joe on Twitter at Lighting the Void. And if you want to call into tonight's show, dial 501-777-5631. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. Now, from the deep south of Arkansas, here is Spaced Out Saturday host Joe Roop.
Oh, man, bombs away, all right? The number to call in is 501-777-5631. 501-777-5631. We're just doing the open lines, kind of paranormal round table type thing. I don't even like the word round table, but so we're just doing open lines tonight. So if you call in, I don't care who it is. I will not cut you off unless people are trying to get in behind you. But if you got a story or an experience you want to explain or share with us, you can call the numbers 501-777-5631. We're live with our affiliates, WQEE 99, Rock the Key, UPRN Network 107.7, spacedoutradio.com, Spreaker, The Fringe FM. So welcome all of you guys back. We're here with Corinne Wilson, the Occult Priestess. We've taken a couple of phone calls. Rich Giordano's called in. Dennis has called in. And anybody else that wants to share their experience. If there's something you don't agree with me, don't be afraid to call in, because I promise you, I will say something wrong tonight, probably. And I will be wrong more and more. But I will tell you this. I'm on this journey that everyone else is on. I haven't made up my mind exactly what the entire truth of all of this is. UFOs, who I am, what this is about. I will never claim to be that person that knows all of this stuff unless I actually do find out those things. But now I'm just rambling. However, that is the big question. And I've talked to doctors, lawyers, preachers, old men, young, everyone, and they all have these questions too. And I think that's why we're all here together in this thing. However, the reason why I keep Cora around, and she's kind of like my sidekick actually, is because a lot of the stuff she teaches and talks about, I feel is true. And that's not just based on the feelings that I have, but a lot of the studies I've done. So I want to give you props on that, Cora. I know you've done your research as well, but you are the, well, tell everybody who you really are. That's what I want you to do.
All right. Well, I appreciate that, Joe. And I have always loved, excuse me, your open mind, your beautiful, beautiful open mind. And that's one of the reasons why we can be friends and we can bond, is because I'm a weirdo. So I had sleep paralysis for 19 years from the time I can remember. And sleep paralysis is a psychic spiritual attack by a demon. And that happened for over 19 years because of my bloodline that I was born into, and that I'm a spiritual warrior or activist, if you like. And that drives me understand that I came from childhood of spiritual war, and I've been fighting the whole time. So I feel like Joan of Arc. But now, even though I've had my small circles of friends and everything, now it seems like the whole world is beginning to wake up, and we've all known that this time was coming. And that is when I was given, I like to say, permission to tell people who and what I've discovered about myself, because my goal was know thyself. I think it's a very noble goal, and it's something that's attainable. And that's what I did.
Let's take this phone call and we'll finish the rest of this too. 602 area code, you're on the air.
Hello, good evening, guys.
Hi, who are we speaking with?
This is Warren in Phoenix.
Hi, Warren. How are you doing?
Hi,
Warren.
Better now. Hi, guys. Yeah, you guys are having a great conversation. This is something, the ancient cavemen talked about. Why am I here? I lived for 30 years. I lose my loved one. What happens after I die? And, I have no answers. So we're all caught in the same predicament, but it's wonderful to have emotions and let them out, and to communicate with each other, because it lets you know you're not alone. In my life, I've gone through a lot in the last maybe 3 months. I almost lost my parents. So I was frustrated, angry, scared, panicked. Actually collapsed onto the hospital floor when I thought my dad was going to go away. And they had to pick me up, and the nurses had to help me. But fortunately, he made it, and they're doing better. And, it's just one of those things. Your cat could have died, and you would have been grieving him right now. But, it's wonderful that he's still here with you for a while. And you don't have any, reason to question. I don't know how to say it. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
No,
I'm shaving. I'm half shaved right now. I got half a beard on my face.
Do you got shaving cream on one side of your face?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's cool.
Well, I just had to call in because, it's what we all go through, and it's healthy to have all these, questions in your head and to talk about it. And you guys are great. I'm loving the show.
Well, I had the same kind of thing happen to me when my dad got in a very bad car wreck, and my grandmother called me, And she said, Joseph, you need to come up to the shell. And I knew instantly by the tone of her voice it was Dad. And I said, what happened? Where's he at? You know? And she just said, you need to come up here, son. And I drove my truck. I had a fast Dodge with a Hemi in it then. And I drove up there as fast as I could. And my dad's car was in crumpled pieces. And I got out and just fell out to the ground, you know?
Oh.
And I was just, the only thing I could say is, and at the time, I had a bad deal with my faith, too. But I would still, it's funny when we get in desperate moments, we cry out to God no matter what our faith is, right? You know?
Oh, sure. We always want to feel in control, but we're not in control.
And I was begging him. I was saying, Warren, I was going, please, no, not now. Don't take him now. Please, no, you know? And so I know that feeling. And after this happened to Leo, I got to thinking the same thing. Like, why do we have to go through this much pain just to love something? I mean, it makes you not want to get close to anything or take on any pets or have any relationships.
Does, but there's a pain in that too. If you feel, emotionless and cold and flat, then you're lonely and you're in a bad place too. Because I went through a depression when I was really young, and I went through, feeling so much emotion that I was just crying and curled up in a ball to feeling nothing at all. And feeling nothing at all was worse in retrospect.
Right.
It was like to have no emotions at all or no heart or no feelings, no connection was just devastating. I hated that place. And I came out of it, and some people don't, but it's just one of those things about being human.
Where are you listening to the show on? Are you listening on Spreaker or the Fringe FM, or where are you listening at?
I was listening on Rev Radio.
Rev Radio, cool. Yeah, we're over there too, huh? Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm glad you called in, because the more people I hear about this, it's not like, you ain't got all the answers. But when I told my dad the same thing I'm telling you today, I called him on the phone and said, I'm never taking in another pet. I don't want to feel this way anymore. He was like, son, you're looking at things all wrong. And I'm like, how am I supposed to look at it? And he had no answers for me. He just knew that it was wrong.
Yeah. I've lost all my pets, and I haven't gotten a pet since. When I've had like 3 or 4 of them. They're all gone. But I said goodbye to my dad before the surgery. We hugged. I said goodbye, and he was so close to going away. I'm glad we had that conversation, because afterwards, now we're just grateful. He says nothing bothers me. I'm happy to be alive, and we're here together. And it's just a weird, amazing feeling, to be grateful for what you have, because that's all you can do.
Yeah, that's love. That's real love. That's powerful stuff.
Yeah, it's scary, but it's wonderful too.
It can be scary.
Well, thank you guys.
Because it's so
keep
intense.
listening.
Thanks, Warren.
Thank
Warren from
you.
Arizona.
Finish shaving right now.
All right, brother. Take care. Bye-bye.
I want him to tweet a picture of his half-shaved face.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Tweet a picture, #SpacedOutRadio, of your half-shaved face. Yeah, it's no telling what everybody's listening on right now. I didn't know we were on Rev Radio. That's interesting, but that's cool.
That's awesome. He had to call in, man, in the middle of shaving his face. That's really a vote of confidence there.
So were you brought up knowing all the stuff that you know now? Because that's what you were kind of getting into, right, in your childhood?
In the childhood, I was attacked physically, like from abusive household, and also at night, an abusive dream world that basically opened up into hell. So I was in the dark consciousness space, awake and asleep.
Wow.
So it was bad. But no, I was raised a Jehovah's Witness. So that's a cult within and of itself.
What? I didn't know that. You never told me that. Have you told me that? You were a Jehovah's Witness?
Yeah. Yep.
I guess I forgot that. Sorry.
That's a lot of church, buddy. That's like 4 nights a week, Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you don't get to have normal friends or dress normal or be normal. And I'm a weirdo. So obviously, I'm a rebel. I'm an Aquarius. So I rebelled, but I always believed in God. And I was very all about God since I've been born. And went through some existential angst at age 14 when my family said, if Jehovah is not your God, then you are a Satan worshiper and we won't
Can anybody hear me? Can you hear me? I don't know what is going on, folks, but my router is under attack. For real. What was she talking about before that happened? Satan worshiping? Hold on, Cora. I'm going to call you back. You shouldn't be talking about devil worshipers. Cora.
Good morning, Vietnam.
What the hell happened, man?
Hey, there were a lot of suggestions in the chat room about what happened.
I said Satan worshiper, and I looked over and my router turned 9 different colors.
It was all kinds of synchronicity, dude. That was definitely a happening.
I need someone to check to do me a big favor. Anybody from the audience? This is internet radio, folks. This kind of thing happens. I need someone to check the Fringe FM for me if they can and see if it's replaying or if it's playing what I'm saying now. But I just got an email from I just got an email from my provider saying that there is a security threat and we are working on the issue. Is that my location? Thank you. At least they're being honest about it.
You get hacked?
Well, the way I have it set up is if you can actually hack someone's router. I know how to do that myself. I just don't do it. But you can. But what they do is they just recycle it on their end if they see that happening. I paid for the premium package here. That's why we didn't have to restart another what's it called? Can you guys still hear me? Because Rich is saying he can't hear. Of course, some people can and can't. It's not playing on the Fringe FM. I don't know. I'm going to have to figure this out. No one's going to help me here. They're just going to go, I can't hear. Hold on just a second. Can you still hear me, Cor?
Yeah, I got you, bud.
I told you. What did I tell you when we started the show?
That you're frustrated?
I'm frustrated. Nothing's working. All right, hold on.
Well, this is when a new ager would say, you create your own reality, but that's crap.
Okay, yeah, so we're not on the Fringe FM, so we're going to have to go back on there. And
are we redoing the call?
No. I'm just, we're on the Fringe FM now. Sorry about that, guys. I know you're listening to a replay, but as soon as Cor said something about devils, the router went under attack. I'm not blaming it on you, though. But you did say something about being under attack or whatever, right? Or what were you saying?
You're talking about it a lot. I did have an experience the other night that really tripped me out in the dream realm, which normally never happens to me because I never go to the dark places anymore. But for some reason I had to the other night, and I actually did have a really creepy, cool experience.
Well, can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I'd love to, actually. So nobody knows, but maybe 4 people, but I have a life-size male doll, like the kind from realdolls.com. He is 125 pounds. He's a real doll. I just got him. He's a beautiful piece of art. I named him Art like 3 days before Art Bell died, which is crazy. Anyway.
They can't hear you for some reason. I don't know why. They can't hear you.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
For some reason, your volume isn't doing it. It's just not. Just keep talking. I'll figure it out.
Okay. In the dream, the doll, which is inanimate, his arm started moving up and down in a choppy motion very quickly. And then I looked over to the other side of my room, and I was no longer in my room. I was in a dark space, like a bardo, the ghost realm. And I saw spectral light, which is like stop motion photography. It's like strobe light. It's like a fan effect. And I could actually hear like a movie projector sound. So I knew what I was about to see was false light. spectral light. And then what I saw was a little boy around 6 or 7 years old looking exactly like Damien from the classic film, The Omen. And he had white zombie eyes, and he looked dead at me, and his body was phasing in and out. So he would disappear quickly and come back quickly. And he looked at me dead in the eye, and he went, shh.
Wow,
he did a shush.
That's trippy.
Yeah, and then he walked off.
Wow.
And I believe...
Rich said she'd be cool to date.
Thanks. So I want you to know the weirdest part. This, women, please pay attention. Men too. I believe because this doll is kind of taking the place of a boyfriend, that it was psychically attacked, that the evil whatever it was, which always attacks my boyfriends, attacked the doll. And because the doll isn't real, I got to see it instead.
That's such a trip.
Yeah,
wow.
And it got caught. I caught the trickster in the game, baby.
Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. If you're listening on the Fringe FM, I had to change. Something knocked out my settings. It knocked out everything, so I got it fixed now. I'm amazed that I didn't have to start another Spreaker stream to get it up, but that's why we have 2 streams going, just in case stuff like that happens. But something really weird. I think it was all that negative juju talk. Maybe we need to start getting on a positive note here, huh?
Well, that's not actually the end of the story.
Oh, God. Okay. Well, let's hear it, because I definitely want to hear it.
So then I looked after the spectral child moved out of the frame. I looked over back at the doll, and instead of seeing the doll, I saw blood sigils. I saw the symbol of Baphomet and blood, and then I saw like thousands of rituals throughout history where people were drinking blood out of gold goblets. And I did banishing pentacles on everything I saw. Everything that was shown and revealed to me, I banished or cleansed all the way back in history. Just because that little inner child of a ghost of somebody I probably know came to see me.
It's such a trip.
It's tripping me out too. And I'm not used to being that tripped out.
So what I'm saying is at what point did you realize that you were an incarnation of something higher?
Well, the first time I read that a goddess could be a real girl was the story of Kuan Yin, who was a mortal woman, but she was such an amazing healer that she actually became a Buddha. She became enlightened. And my name that my mother named me is Corinne, which is the French version of Cor Persephone. That's the biggest skeptic clue I can tell people, is that I know that I am the reincarnation of Cor Persephone. That's, to me, that my name is her is cool, but that I have the memory is better. But you can't prove that. You can't prove memory unless I speak with archaeologists and people who actually, but I don't even think they know because they're in false history. But those who really study the occult tend to agree with me, and they're like, yeah, I know what you're saying. It's actually in this book over here, where I didn't get it from a book. I'm remembering. And we can all do this. It's not just me.
So, I mean, do you know who you are, like in a past life? Is what I'm saying. Do you know who you really are?
Several.
You're
Yes.
several different people?
I took several different bodies with different personalities to be the teacher that I came here to be, as a volunteer, as a helper. And that on a higher level, my soul is a goddess. But that's not really a big deal to Hindus and Buddhists because we almost all feel that way.
How can I figure out that, who I was?
You have to go within. And I had a spirit guide. I mean, I didn't do this all on my own. I literally was guided. And your Ariel, Uriel can guide you. Archangels can guide you. Ascended masters can guide you. You just need to make sure that they're being positive and loving. Because something that's dark can't hold positive, loving vibes for too long. They will crack.
Well, didn't they say that like Lucifer was like the most beautiful and loving and God? I'm not saying Lucifer's tricking you or anything, but
actually, Lucifer. Let me school you, buddy.
Right,
Lucifer comes from.
Schooled.
Lucifer comes from the Etruscan people, and actually, Lucifer got with Diana, another goddess. So they were actually brother and sister, one of those things, which actually means twins, and people don't understand that.
You mean God
because it's
with
a spiritual thing.
Like God
Yeah,
with God
like
with?
yeah, made a baby, and that baby became Aradia, the goddess of the witches. They sent their baby to Earth to teach the witches. It's a really beautiful story, and that's that Lucifer that came pre-Christian.
So Lucifer's not a bad person. Is that what you're saying?
If you believe in that particular Lucifer, and you know, it's a gradient, isn't it? All the way from white light all the way to black dark. It's a gradient. And I see Christopher Fisher in the chat, so I just want to say hi.
Hey Fisher, I hope your mom's doing okay. Yeah, I'm getting messages now. The show dropped off. That was a long time ago. But we got a backup stream too, just in case that happens. But it is internet radio. But we are trying to branch away other than just the internet too, but that's for another time. But I don't know. Like you have never been really mad at me about being skeptical about all this stuff.
Oh, well, Shar, wait a minute. Shar in the chat said what religion was talking about. She can look up Etruscan, Etrusk, or SCAN, Etruscan. It's Italian witchcraft. Strega.
Strega. Are you a Strega witch?
I was in a past life as a radio.
Are you a witch now?
Yeah, I'm Wiccan, sure. But I'm so many things. That's why I call myself the occult priestess, because occult means the study of what is mysterious or hidden. So I cover all those things.
Have you ever cursed or hexed anybody?
Oh, God, no. No, at 16, I will confess. At 16, I did a love spell on a very particular person for a friend of mine, not me. She wanted this man like, oh my God, she was dying to have this man. And they seemed like they'd make a good couple. So I did a love spell, and I've regretted it ever since.
You help people fall in love?
I tried, but then he found out about the spell and said, well, maybe I don't love her. Maybe it's a spell. He got skeptical and weird.
Wow.
It was like the movie The Craft. It was not a good scene. I was 16. I didn't know the ethical issues of that. But I have done many love spells. It's just that you don't focus on a certain person. You focus on, I would like these qualities, or please God, send me the right person, kind of thing. You try not to control it so much.
You know what? I've read a couple of love spells, like how to do it. And it's crazy because the first thing that they tell you in some of the spells I've read is to make sure that it is actually the witching hour. The spells are more effective when these people are actually asleep in bed, because you can tap into the astral realm, which taps into their subconscious even more. And I'm thinking, but this book was supposed to be like a love and light kind of book, but this sounds pretty sketchy to me.
Yeah, welcome to my world. There's a lot of books out there that have little sunshines on the cover, but when you read it and you know what you're reading, then you know it's black magic. But most people are new and they don't have the discernment. Just like I said, at 16, I did black magic. I did a love spell on someone in particular.
And it worked.
It did work, but there was backlash. And the backlash is the guy never liked me.
People wonder why we talk about magic so much, or at least why I do, is because I know it works. And if I know it works, it fascinates me. Even the bad stuff. I'm fascinated by that. I'm not going to do it, but I'm just fascinated as to why. Why does it work? What makes it work?
But when you realize that this world isn't just three-dimensional and that there is a spiritual realm and there's even a soul realm, which is higher than the spiritual realm, then you kind of get all the players in the game. If you're only looking at the Monopoly board from 3D, then none of it makes sense.
I understand, but there's a lot of stories being told out there, Cora. Like what I'm saying is, and please don't take this the wrong way because I am looking for answers. There's a lot of people out there telling their own unique stories, whether it's they came from this person or were descended from this master, or they were in some type of program and they met these aliens and this and that, and they can't all be right, and all of them have mass quantities of people following them, you know. So when I expressed frustration earlier, that's one of them. That's one reason. That's one of the many.
Well, welcome to my world again. Even since I started going to psychic fairs, I started to hear the fictional stories of what people were literally making up. They're like fantasy writers in their head, and they get into their own story. It's very ego-driven. But there are other people that are having mystical experiences but do not know how to define them. They don't have a context for them, so they're making up a context. So there's lots of ways to get confused. But when you have your inner knowing, when you have set a foundation of inner knowing, then you build upon it with others what they can give to you. But otherwise, you have to self-focus. And again, I believe find a guide. Even Archangel Michael, he works. He likes everybody.
So you mean don't try to look for the answers in man, like find a spiritual guide?
Please. That's what the White Lodge wants. We would like everyone to have a spirit guide because that's the way it was, and that's the way it can be again.
There you go again. The White Lodge. What is the White Lodge?
So it's the White Lodge of Ascended Masters, which is a convenient term for a heaven college of Buddhas, basically enlightened souls who stick around this universe. They don't have to, but they choose to help humanity blossom into full alignment, full gods on earth.
Some people would call that Luciferian, that you're wanting man to be a god.
Well, then they realize if they're talking about Luciferianism, they're talking about materialism, the golden calf, being beautiful and vanity, all the ego things, where, of course, that to me is animalistic. It's barbaric, and I would never speak about it, basically. I'm talking about heaven on earth gods. Do you remember ancient Greece? Do you remember we could walk with our real feet? Some of you do. Some of you out there remember.
But there was also a lot of... God, I feel like I'm just being negative. But I'm just being real, though, too. There were a lot of those people slept with little boys and stuff. And, you know, I'm sure it was a very intellectual time. I know that in my history books, I'm a big fan of Plato, Aristotle, and, you know, stuff like that. But there was some jacked up stuff going on then as well.
Well, I remember what our circle was like, I guess. I'm definitely not talking about the philosophers because they get on my nerves, although we need them now.
Why? Why do philosophers? Because I love philosophy. Why does that?
Because they chase their damn tails. They don't look for the actual answer. They chase their damn tails. And that's fun and enjoyable to chew on things. It's kind of a meditation. But there are answers.
And you found them.
I found my own answers.
Oh, come on. There's got to be a universal answer for
God loves you. There
right.
You go. That's a big one.
I believe in that. I believe in a creator. And I've gotten a lot of slack from that from chaos magicians and I guess you could say left-hand path people that I believe in an all-loving, creative God. But I believe that it's directly attached to nature and cosmology too, though.
Totally. But when you're talking about taking control of your life and becoming your own God, what Crowley did, what Crowley wants, people to do, that is ego. That is the opposite of enlightenment.
But doesn't Crowley, the OTO, don't they say love is the law, love under will, right?
Whose will? Whose will? His will. Only his will, the controller. That is the beginning of a cult. Yes, his will. Not
love is the law. Love. He was
not talking
will. Does
about.
Does that sound right? Love under will.
Love is the law. Yeah, that's what he said. Basically, what people think that means is do whatever you want because the law is do what thou wilt. Really, they don't even think of the love part. And what is love? Crowley didn't define that very well. He didn't love himself. He was extremely unhealthy. You got to look at the lifestyle of these people. You have to look at every facet of them if you're going to follow them.
So, like, See, because I've read some of what Crowley talks about, and he's got some type of strange, and I can see where you get upset, where he has a philosophy that the whole good and evil thing is just a measure of control, and it's almost like a nursery rhyme. The truth of the matter is that everyone has free will, and I figure I read this right. I know I did. Everyone has free will. Where you mess up and where you do wrong, according to Crowley, is when you interfere with someone else's will. I know I read it. He stated that himself. But yeah.
Well, that's just saying stay in your own lane, people. But he did not stay in his own lane.
Yeah, I gotta
he
think
was
there
the
were
master of
sometimes-
many.
I know he had magical wars with some magicians, so...
And he brought forth Leviathan. He brought forth a lot of ickies on this planet that we didn't have before him. He unleashed a lot of dark things into this world and through his books.
Yeah, he was also a spy, if I hear.
No, that's true. For the Queen. We know that. We mentioned that before. He was with the system, for the system. And egoistic, which means he believed he was God. He told Dion Fortune that we are the gods. There are none above us. And that's about the will, the true will. He talked about conversation with the Holy Guardian Angel. Well, I think his was AWAS. I think his was a gray alien. My Holy Guardian Angel is me, my higher self, core. And Hermes is my twin.
Do you know your name, like your real name, your divine name?
The one written in the book?
Yeah.
It's very long and angelic. And no, I could never get it down to this planet in 3D.
So what is the whole 144,000 thing about? Do you know?
It's the book of love. If your name is written in the book of love, you are an immortal. And no matter how many times you cycle through this planet, you'll always go home to heaven. And some people go above heaven because this is only one universe. There's, God is infinite and infinitely creative.
Wow. I had this conversation with a man who was a 32nd degree Freemason yesterday when I was looking for the cat. It was his yard. His name's Joe Matthews, a wonderful old man, right? And they're always wanting me to get back into Freemasonry because, oh, you're so smart, Joe, this and that. But then they just talk about the Bible and this and that. And I finally asked him, I said, Mr. Matthews, I said, if I told you that I could leave my body while I was asleep, would you believe me? And he said, no. And I said, then what do we got to talk about? We're not even going to believe each other. And he said, well, you got a point. And for the first time, an old man that's lived around me actually told me that I had a point. I felt so good when he said that. Because that's never happened around here.
Yeah, and you love that your peers recognize you. I've seen that in you. You really do enjoy that.
Well, I'm starting to get more involved. This cat thing kind of happened too, because I think getting involved with my community is... I'm starting to see the importance in that now. Not just your internet community, but your community.
Connection with people. It's good for your heart. You need that.
Your neighbors, the people around you, the people that care. Okay, you guys hear me bash this place a lot, but I'll tell you what. If you were broke down on the side of the road, and especially you, Cor, you know how many people would stop and try to help you here?
No, I don't.
There would be hundreds of people. You wouldn't have no problem getting help. And I mean that. Everyone around here will do that because they were just raised that way. They'll welcome you in their home. We don't lock our doors out here.
It just reminds me of that Southern hospitality that I'm used to from Kentucky.
But it's always about the Bible. And I'm like, God, can you guys not pick up another book? Is there not another book that you'll read? Do you really think that you can narrow down the creator of the entire universe to a book that was written by man? Do you really believe that? And a lot of this stuff is metaphors, like Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. I mean, I guess unless you believe in talking snakes, I don't know.
Joe, you got to know some people are very simple. They're very simple, and they're farmers, and they just do earthy stuff, and that's the length of them.
It's not bad.
And that's great. We need those people. No, I love those people. They're very kind and loving and good people. We need that good vibe. But you can't talk about aliens with them.
We've got here where I live. It's nothing but churches, banks, and gas stations. That's it. That's all we got. And I'm not ready to leave because I hate all of that stuff. Actually, I'm ready to see something else. Just done with it.
I think some travel would do you good.
So back to what we were talking about. So you're this ascended person that's come down to teach us these things. I call
myself a not so ascended master.
I remember when you told me, like the first time that you told me, you said, Joe, you got to help these people. You got to teach them all this stuff. And I told you, I said, Cora, I'm not here to tell people what to think, do, or act, or what the truth is. And you were so shocked at that. You know, you were like,
a teacher.
Yeah, you were like, what? And I just, I still wonder to this day why you think I would do something like that. Or maybe I come off that way.
I believe that all radio show hosts are teachers.
Oh, no.
I know. I'm so naive. I'm totally naive.
You should never, don't believe that. I know a lot of radio hosts, and most of them are full of it.
I'm finding that out.
Yeah. I will tell you this, though, guys. I promise you this. If you're listening right now, I will give you my word that I will be the same person I am on the air, off the air. And believe it or not, that is a rare thing in live radio. But I will give you that.
And I will attest to that. Joe's the real thing. I call you the average Joe sometimes because you're the everyman, man.
I'm every man. You hear that, ladies? Anyways,
I can smell your cologne from here.
If you want to call in, the number's 501-777-5631. Fisher, you should call in. Tell us how you're doing. Anybody that's never called in, I would love to hear your voices. But yeah, it's 501-777-5631. I'm starting to feel better, though. I know I was angry the first hour. I wonder if I'm bipolar.
Gosh, you're so paranoid sometimes. It's cute. And I know your dad picks up on it because your dad tells you right. He just doesn't have answers yet, which is cute, too.
Yeah. That's what he said. He goes, you're thinking wrong. And I said, what? Well, what's the right way to think? He goes, I don't know, but the way you're thinking is wrong. I was like, thanks. That helps, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because honestly, Joe, you don't need a leader. You are the leader, and that's what's dawning upon you slowly but surely.
Don't say that. I don't want to be. I don't want to be a leader.
Why do you think you have a microphone in front of your face? You think that's a coincidence?
It's fun. 330 area code. You're on the air.
Hey, Joe. This is Moonlight.
Hey, what's up, Moonlight?
Not too much. How you doing tonight, man?
Man, I'm riding the wave, actually, for real this time. Ups and downs.
Yeah, you're sounding better now. You sounded pretty bad first off.
Yeah, I was. I was actually pretty upset. Every time I think about what happened to the cat, I start getting. I don't just get angry at the situation. I start thinking about the world. Right? I don't know why. It's stupid.
You should explore that. Don't throw that away with the bathwater and the baby. You should explore that. There's an answer in there. There's an answer there, Joe.
Right. So what's up, man? What's up with you?
Well, there's a bunch going on for me, but one of the things I wanted to say to you is I'm glad your little buddy's on the mains. Mm-hmm. And the other part about it is what happened is not your fault. You did what you could to save his life. It was a bad situation, but none of it was your fault. And look, I'm going to pass that. I'm not going to talk anymore about that.
Right. I hear you.
Okay. But yeah, I've been listening to all the stuff you guys have been talking about and everything. Touching on some crazy stuff tonight. But as far as the religious stuff, I think you and I both agree on the same thing. I don't hate religion, but I believe that both of us probably hate what some of the religious leaders have done to their people for their own personal gain.
Well, look what Christ said to him. Christ himself was like, scribes and Pharisees, you're the harbingers of hell, and you make that hell by the stuff that you do. Scribes and Pharisees are people that write holy books and laws and enforce them and all, dogmas. That's the downfall of this planet, man. And what's it going to take for us to figure that out?
That's it. Treat people the way you want to be treated, the way you should be treated. Respect yourself, respect others. Religion's not about gain. Religion's not about money.
Unless you're Jesse Duplantis. God said that we need another airplane. He really said that.
I know, and every single one of them is the same way. They all have their own private jets, if not 3 or 4 or 5, and they all live in these mega mansions. And I'm not going to get into that because you'll
make
get
you
hacked
mad,
again.
won't it? He made you mad if you start twisting about it.
You'll get hacked off the air again, and it'll just get us both pissed off. And and it'll get Dave pissed off somewhere too. And anyways, I don't know what the whole deal that your guest was talking about, hermaphrodites and all this other stuff, but that was crazy earlier.
That is an interesting point. Can you explain that a little, Core? The hermaphrodite
We have a left side of the brain, which is masculine, yang. We have a right side of the brain, which is feminine, yin. So you, therefore, are already a hermaphrodite, but you're living out of one or the other more so, and they are unbalanced more than likely. When they become balanced, your third eye opens, and you become an immortal.
But will I be a boy girl? Because I don't really want to be a boy girl.
In your brain. So I would say that you would be able to cry without shame, and you would be able to, I don't know, hunt an animal without fear. It's the best of both worlds, masculine and feminine.
Man.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to have a Converse All-Star on one side and a Stiletto heel on the other.
Exactly.
Do you think that's what, I'm going to get some controversy going here, but do you think why there's this whole gender thing going on now? You remember all that?
That's exactly why it's going on. And Hermes told me 10 years ago this was going to happen, and I'm still waiting for the gay Olympics. That'll happen one day.
No, but why can't, I'm not talking about gay. I'm talking about confused.
I know. They are confusing the narrative, dude. This isn't regular people doing this. This is media.
Well, I say right now, you got to pick a side, I think. I think I'm actually too loud here. Sorry about that. I don't know. That stuff worries me. I'm just going to say that.
This is not organic, Joe. This is not coming from people. This is coming from the media. The media is pushing an agenda of gender confusion because they want to break up the family.
Moonlight,
it's called social engineering.
That's pretty intense. I've not even thought about that conspiracy there. The biggest thing I've heard on this thing, and somebody the other day was, they put it out there as, it doesn't really matter what you do to your outside body. It's your soul's going to be the same.
That's right.
So you need to just go ahead and, work things out to what your soul is, whatever it might be. So figure things out that way. And I thought that was a great way of looking at things.
I just thought that I was going to walk up to a public restroom and start jumping up and down because I didn't know which way I was to go, Yeah, I thought that's what you meant too at first. And I was like, whoa, that's weird. But I get it now. It's all about the energies, right? The way the body's designed.
The body is male or female. The mind, you understand, the Kabbalion said the universe is mental in nature, and so are you. In your mind has weather patterns and all of these things, but you are also masculine or feminine, and you have an inner woman. And again, Carl Jung, you have an anima, which is the female side of you. She has a completely different personality. And through meditation, through working with me, I take people in to meet their inner other, their inner twin. And I actually have videos about it, all about my own inner twin and how when I first saw him in meditation, he was a Nosferatu. He was very messed up. He was extremely toxic. But then I worked with him and eventually he became Hermes.
Huh. This is wild. But if it's true, that's cool. I appreciate.
Well, I'm not lying.
I'm not saying you're lying.
To me.
That's not what I said, see? But just like when people say, look, I saw Bigfoot, and I'm like, okay.
I believe them.
I still have my doubts. Sorry. And you know what did that for me was the whole, I almost said Stanley Kubrick, but Stanley Romanek deal, you know?
Oh, wow.
Where he's seen the alien and all that, and then the next day he gets caught throwing a pin. And he didn't even know that, like, the camera saw him do it. So he basically showed everybody that he was a sociopath. And at that point, I was like, look how many people that this guy got to believe him. Not to mention, to this day, still people believe him.
Well, I want to tell you something, Joe. Anybody who says UFOs, aliens, and abduction, I never truly believed, but I started getting clients that were crying on me, literally broken and devastated.
Not UFOs and Stan Romanek.
Well, still, but he wasn't talking about Bigfoot. He was talking about Greys.
Uh-huh.
Stan Romanek is about the Greys.
Do you believe Stan Romanek? You think that
I did. I haven't seen the evidence that you said, but I honestly...
You haven't seen the pin throwing video. Have you seen what I'm talking about, Moonlit? Have you seen that?
No, I haven't.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to have to look that up.
Let me tell you guys. So that means there's other people that haven't seen it.
That's true.
So he's in an interview, and I forget what show he's on. I don't know the name of the show, and that doesn't really matter. But all you got to do is look it up on YouTube. And he's in an interview, and he has his hands out front, and he's got like this marker or something in his hand, and he throws it at, like, from the front of it. He doesn't think the camera can see his hands, is what I'm saying. And he throws the pin, and the pin bashes up against the wall, and it falls, and he starts acting like, what was that? Did you guys see that? I know you just saw that, right?
See, I would always catch people doing that stuff. Like I had a coven and everything, and there were people would try to infiltrate and be liars and say they're certain things, and they're not. And mostly it was the people who were making up stories that I met in general. It wasn't the authentic people because there's less of us.
Yeah, well, all I'm saying is once I saw that, I always had my doubts about the guy's story to begin with because just seeing that, it just looked fake to me. But when he did that, I give everybody the benefit of the doubt. I really do. But once I catch you doing that, it's very hard for me to believe anything you've said.
Yeah.
Well, my big pet peeve is Corey Good.
I appreciate your call, Moonlit. I really do, brother. Thanks for helping me out here.
Oh, good luck, man, and good luck for the cat.
Yeah, well, we're going to be a little bit more cautious with the cat. I like Moonlit. That's a cool dude there. Did you just say Corey Good? You said first and we got to take a break, but I do want to talk to you about that in the third hour. Cor, you're stepping in it right now, aren't you? But you're not afraid.
Yeah. Why? I'm just authentic. No big deal.
Right. I understand that. We're going to take a break, though, but we'll be right back, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. Don't forget to call in. I'll post the call-in number in the chat room, too. Don't go anywhere.
The broken saints are walking in their sleep since yesterday.
From the Mile High State of Colorado, sharing our signal around the world, I invite you to Spaced Out Sundays. Hi, I'm Tessa Nicole Thomas, and I'm closing out the week by taking you on a paranormal journey to the world of the weird. Ghosts, aliens, psychic phenomena, I will hit it all in your questions too. So let us highlight the paranormal for you. So come join me for Spaced Out Sundays starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, 12 a.m. Eastern, only at spacedoutradio.com.
Let us play with all our joy.
The Call of the Wild is in Vancouver. The Moose Vancouver is one of the hottest bars and restaurants in the city. Open until 2 a.m. nightly, the Moose will rock you like a hurricane all night long. Great food with everything on the menu at $6.95 near the corner of Nelson and Granville. Get your horns up and come rock with us. The Moose Vancouver, the official rocking bar of Spaced Out Radio.
A timepiece is a reflection of who you are, and what better way to show off the real you than with an Escape watch? Escape is a lifestyle brand accessorizing your days and nights. Choose to escape and create the life of discovery that you deserve. Dream, play, unite with your own personalized Escape watch. Head to escapewatches.com. There is no time like the present to enjoy your escape. Use promo code SMF2017 for your 20% discount today.
Are you tired of being blocked, shadow banned, or placed in jail for simply posting your thoughts on social media? Social Media Freedom can take care of that for you. Social Media Freedom is the newest and one of the best free new apps that allows you the freedom to post what you want when you want. It takes seconds to download from your app store. Come join the tribe at Social Media Freedom. It's time to set yourself free.
Coming September 28th to the 30th, it's our first annual Caribou Paracon, put on by Spaced Out Radio and the Canadian Society of Questers. 3 days of paranormal, supernatural, and spiritual knowledge in the beautiful 108 Mile Ranch, British Columbia. Tickets are $150 Canadian for the event, being held at the Spruce Hills Resort and Spa. Come watch our featured speaker, Grant Cameron, along with Lorian Fenton, David Weatherly, Ross Allison, and more. The Caribou Paracon, celebrating everything paranormal.
Not ready for bed on Saturday night? Right after Spaced Out Saturdays, hop on over to S4 with Corey Ruiz and me, Eric Cooper from Forest Moon Paranormal. With S4, there are no limits to what we try and uncover. From government conspiracies to helping clean up the paranormal, no topic is safe on S4. We get to the heart of the matter, of the subjects you want to learn more about. So tune in on S4 starting at midnight Pacific, 3 a.m. Eastern, only on SpacedOutRadio.com.
This is Eric Markham, news editor for the Spaced Out Radio's The Encounter Online. We have put together a great team of writers and journalists from all over the world to bring you top-quality paranormal stories, from alien encounters to the latest conspiracies. You won't find any of that fake news here. True stories and top-notch reporting as we look to bring these experiences to the mainstream. The Encounter Online, only at SpacedOutRadio.com.
Hi there, this is Dave Scott from Spaced Out Radio, and I want you to come on a nightly journey. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, every Monday through Friday, you can come hang out with me and the other space travelers. We have it all from Carl the Alien bouncing on by to those misfit gnomes causing havoc. It's 3 hours of fun and entertainment on those topics the mainstream really doesn't want to touch. Come get all paranormal with us at SpacedOutRadio.com, and together, my friends, along with our resident guitar god Bumblefoot, we own the night.
Do you want to know the truth? Do UFOs exist? Are aliens real? Are the governments hiding the biggest secret in history? We're UFO seekers, and we're on a hunt for the truth. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow along with us as we journey across the United States, visiting UFO hotspots and alien hotspots, trying to document the UFO phenomenon. Catch us on Spaced Out Radio every third Monday of the month as we discuss Area 51, UFOs, and more. And also, don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app. Free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
The opinions expressed by tonight's guest do not represent the opinions or position of Spaced Out Radio. syndicated carriers, or anyone associated with SOR Media. Listener discretion is advised. Want more information about our programming? Check out spacedoutradio.com. You can follow our host, Joe Rube, on Twitter at Lighting the Void. Call in to tonight's show at 501-777-5631. Now, entering the radio ring from Arkansas, Spaced Out Saturday host, Joe Rube.
The big fat radio ring, right? How big is it right now on a Saturday night, actually? No, it's not bad. There's some good shows out there, including this one. But we're here. We've had several people on the line. We're here with Corian Wilson, the occult priestess. Everett kind of dropped off because this isn't his bag. That's what he told me. He messaged me, said, "This isn't my bag, baby." And he bounced
we're
out.
moving, we're sticking, we're shadow boxing.
Yeah, so he's but I love Everett. He's good for his own reasons too. And I do want to thank him and Tess for really helping me. I don't think I would have gotten through the past few weeks without both of you guys and Eric Markham and Dennis. I got a lot of people I need to thank, but I'll do that Tuesday night. Speaking of which, you guys do know I do another show called Lighting the Void. I think you should check it out. It's not that it's as long, but we delve into the rabbit hole pretty deep on that show too. This show I use to try to find out a little bit more about ufology and those things. But we've had kind of a rough night technically here too. It's just been some weird energy, but I think the dust is starting to settle. But before the break, Cora brought up the name Corey Good, which has been on a lot of people's minds of late. I've seen people change their mind about him, which I never thought, because I kind of thought a lot of people had this cultish type mentality about the man, but other people are starting to change their mind. Now, if you're asking if I'm on one side of the fence or the other, I would say that I'm leaning more towards, I think maybe Corey had an astral experience and he thinks it's real.
Dun, dun, dun.
Then again, I don't know. What do you think? Because I know you were talking about it before we went to the break, and I kind of cut you off.
Like you said, an astral experience that he believed was actual was my theory when I heard what he had to say. But he kept saying that he physically went to places with physical, real government people, that he is a super soldier. Therefore, he has been brainwashed. So what people don't understand in general is that he has been brainwashed. How are you going to put your faith into someone who has been through these government programs?
So you think he really has been through government programs? Possibly.
His story says, Corey's story says that he has been in government programs. Whether I believe that or not at this point of my story is irrelevant. That's a flat fact that he says he was brainwashed, that he worked for the government. He's one of those people. And as a psychic, as Wiccan or whatever I am, in my community, we always kind of shunned football players. Okay, this is the feminine. Anything dealing with military or war, we shunned. And kind of the UFO people we also shunned. They were new to our big community that's been around since the 1800s. Is that making sense to you?
Yeah, it does. Right.
And then we had the government infiltration definitely in the 60s. You can really pinpoint it there. And then, all the way into Manson and the Kool-Aid guy. Sorry, that's really disrespectful. But I forget Jim Jones and all the murder that took place there. And there's proof that the CIA did that. So if you're doing your research, just like I like the Dark Journalist. I'm a big fan of the Dark Journalist because he can research better than I can.
Yeah,
he's bringing up these topics. He's talking about these topics.
He is. He's very good at it. There's a lot of people that say they're journalists, so-called journalists. Or people have even accused me of being a journalist, and I've never said that I was a journalist. But I challenge if any of you guys have an issue with the Dark Journalist, start from his first video and go along with the guy, and you'll see the kind of research he's really done. He's not just out to try to prove people wrong. I mean, he backs up pretty much everything he says with facts and documents, and he really tries to dig deep. And if he doesn't know something, he's going to tell you he's unsure about it.
Yeah, and I was on the fence a little bit about Corey Good just because I wasn't paying attention, to tell you the truth, because I'd already kind of marked him as somebody I wouldn't pay attention to. But Daniel, the dark journalist, did a 3-part series exposing Corey, his past, his associations with Bill Ballard, who actually knew Corey, and they had emails, they had proof that Corey had at least lied about his financial situation and made it seem as if he pulled an Edward Snowden and left a very well high-paying job to be a whistleblower, which literally did not happen. He was on some kind of government assistance.
Which is, that's not a bad thing to be on government assistance.
Of course
but it's
not.
bad
No,
to say that
you lie.
You're
can't
like
lie.
James Bond, but you're really not, you know?
Right, exactly. And that was just a big clue about his personality. But if you go through the Dark Journalist series on Corey Good and then Corey's kids, which is total CIA FBI situation where they're taking someone and raising them like a cult figure, Corey Good. First, they hooked him in with David Wilcock, who was already popular, right? This is how infiltration happens, people. We're watching it happen.
Right. Well, maybe, you know, like I said, he doesn't seem to me, and I'm trying to learn how to do this, you know, this lie detector thing, just because I've been reading books on it and stuff. To me, he doesn't seem to be delusional, though. You know,
have you seen how calm and without emotion he is?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he doesn't seem to be
robotic.
So you think that maybe it's a brainwashing issue, I guess.
It's mind control, most definitely. And he has got trigger words, and I'm sure he has a handler.
Well, see, and what about, do you study at all like Andrew Basiago and all that?
I'm not sure.
Because he's another guy that, you know, he called into Art Bell's show, it was a long time ago, actually, for the first time, but he was a time traveler and supposedly worked with all these government agents and stuff.
And people from Mars. I mean, this is a recycling. Corey's Mars story is a recycling of, was it that man's story? There was another man who was a time traveler, and they actually made the movie 12 Monkeys after this guy's story. And then Corey comes out with a very similar story. But, you know, the FBI and CIA are not good at making up new stories. They keep rehashing old storylines. And as you know, also, the game show host, Chuck Barris, was an assassin for our government. And just to go back to Aleister Crowley, and don't tell me he wasn't an assassin for the Queen.
Well, Scientology itself was a religion designed to mind control people. I mean, they've got documents of L. Ron Hubbard telling Crowley he was going to create a religion to do that. And there's still plenty of Scientologists out there. I think it's just that's a thing that frustrates me the most. People want to believe in something so bad that they'll get on it and believe it. And, you know, I don't know. I'd love to talk to Corey, though. I actually would really like to talk to him on this show. 870 area code, you're on the air.
Hello, Joe Roop. This is Lynn Dorman from way down here by Cane Creek Park.
What's up, brother Lynn? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing just great.
Man, it's good to hear from you.
I would like to, you said to call in and talk to you about experiences people had, and I've had a couple of them since last time I talked to you.
Okay.
And I'd like to get your guest opinion on these, if you don't mind.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Well, you know, some of, like to throw in about Eric Cooper's S4 in the next show that we all go to. Mm-hmm. And I would like to say that some of the things he says they do, they have gone against aliens in astral. They have gone against Bigfoot, Yetis, and astral. And I've never had a Yeti or Bigfoot experience. I've never seen one, never smelled one, never heard weird noises, nothing. I did not join that conversation. Not because it upset me, because I don't have any experience. You don't have any experience, you don't have anything to say.
Gotcha. I
was astral, and I was talking with a couple of guys I did not know who these people were. But all of a sudden, there's this huge white Yeti screaming out the window.
Wow.
and it's growling and snarling at us. And the other guys around me, one of them ran. Two of them said, we got to go, because that's the theory about Yetis. They take over your mind. They're telepathic, and they express fear into your brain, where people with guns have said they've run into a Bigfoot and they cannot shoot. The last thing they want to do is shoot the gun, even though it was loaded and cocked and maybe even pointed at them. But the last thing they want to do is pull the trigger, because they just cannot do it. It's a defense mechanism.
Was there any snow?
Huh?
Was there any snow in this astral realm you were at? Like, was there snow?
Yes, there was snow on the ground.
Because that sounds like the abominable
snowman. I live in Arkansas.
Snowman.
There was no snow. Yes, that's why I called it a Yeti.
I called it the abdominal snowman one night.
Well, Yetis actually have a long history in the Tibetan. They actually do haunt the mountains, and they have older stories than the Christian Bible about them. If you want to look it up.
Yes.
That's awesome.
But what happened?
But you were astral, right?
I was astral. I was not physical like the guy you're talking about that physically travels. I was not physically traveling. I was mentally traveling. Mm-hmm. And I have, and Gerald knows this, I investigate paranormally by myself, which means you have to control your fear. Because every time I run into a ghost, if I go running down the street screaming, that's all I'm going to do is run down the road screaming.
That would be a funny life.
I have been in some extremely haunted places and run into some very terrifying spirits, and I have nowhere to go. I was in one of the most haunted cemeteries in the United States, and I got dropped off. I had no ride. I had no cell phone. I had nowhere to go, and I was there for 15 hours.
Where was this place at?
By myself. Bachelor's Grove, just south of Chicago, Illinois.
Okay.
May I ask you a personal question?
Sure, go ahead.
So, having experience with dark beings, did it reinforce your belief that there are good beings too?
Yes. I'll get to that in a minute.
Great.
My next experience. But what happened, I was able to control my fear. It was trying to put fear into my brain like the other people around me, but I controlled the fear because I knew I was astral. And I ripped off my shirt, and I pulled a trick that Eric Cooper does not do, astral. I've talked to Brent Dodge, which is a member of Forest Moon Paranormal. He said he didn't realize you could do this. I can change into anything I want to change to. So I ripped off my shirt.
You talking about like shape-shifting?
In the astral.
It's your soul. You can do anything.
Okay.
Exactly.
Right. My
Form
bad.
is fake. Form is not real.
I just wanted to clarify that. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I changed into a big werewolf.
Ooh, what color were you?
Brown, dark brown.
Ooh, yeah.
Dove out the window, banged my left arm, either going out the window or the Yeti struck me in the arm. Ooh. And then we rolled around, punched at each other, and he ran off, realizing he could not put fear in me. And I was as big and bad as he was at that point.
All right. Well, we're your woot.
I want to do this stuff.
I finally had a Bigfoot Yeti experience.
That is amazing. And you became a werewolf. I mean, that's even cooler.
Well, I told this story one night on Dave's show. Joe Root may not have heard about it, but Brent Dodge and I got rid of America's first serial killer, H.H. Holmes.
You got rid of him?
Yes. He was in the astral plane. He was looking for a young body with supple fingers. Remember, he was a surgeon, if you knew his story.
Right.
He was looking for people that went astral and was going to try to take over their bodies. So I warned Forest Moon Paranormal about this, and they sent me Brent Dodge to Dave's show, and we talked and left the chat room, and not Dave, but Brent Dodge found him in London. This is astral now.
It's weird because it's reminding me of Jack the Ripper.
Okay.
This is freaky.
His great grandson was on Dave's show a month or so ago, and it is his thought that H.H. Holmes was in London. They had arrived in London just before the first Jack the Ripper killing, and left right after the last Jack the Ripper killing. But Jack the Ripper was not surgical like H.H. Holmes was, and it could be his assistant.
Oh, well, I heard he was surgical, so that's interesting. Okay.
Well, Jack the Ripper was not as surgical and precise as H.H. Holmes. H.H. Holmes.
Oh, so the copy he took it across the sea. So almost like he had a mentor.
Yes. He went to London and was in London, verified by a shipping manifest that he was in London during those deaths, but the surgery was not done as precisely as H.H. Holmes. H.H. Holmes was one of the smartest men in history, and probably could have been one of the best surgeons in history.
Could Jack the Ripper have taught him, and then that guy would have been his protege, and he came to America to kill people? Is that what happened?
Well, they're saying the grandson of H.H. Holmes is saying that Jack the Ripper was a protege of H.H. Holmes.
Oh, I see. I got my teachers mixed up.
Okay. How are you doing this, Lynn? Like, when I've talked to you before, I believe, about astral travel. So you have learned the methods how to get into this state, right? Do you find them easier than you thought?
Do I find it what?
Do you find it easier than you thought? Because I talked to you about this once, I believe. And
every
you said
time
it was
I do
hard.
it, it's easier.
Huh. I might have to actually join up with you guys over there.
H.H. Holmes, when you kill a spirit in the astral realm, they are forced to move on into the next realm, either go to hell or heaven, depending on what you believe in.
They go down or up. That's right, when you kick their butt.
And I turned into, if you ever watched the Green Arrow on TV, I turned into the guy who plays the Green Arrow, and shot him with a green energy arrow right in the chest while Brent had him distracted and held down.
You shot him with your heart chakra, the color green. That's so amazing. And also, who is that superhero? Who is it?
Green Arrow.
You're talking about the Green Lantern. That's who you're thinking about.
Well, no, he was a Green Arrow. That's great. Green is still heart chakra.
Wait, come on now. All right. Now, I'm not saying that this is all made up, because I don't think it's made up, but
he did not sit down and make it up. It happened to him.
It did happen, but we were just talking about Corey Good. So you don't believe in what he's saying, but you believe this.
Corey is telling me that he is physically taken to underground bases, brainwashed, and working with physical aliens. That's not at all what this guy is saying.
Gotcha.
It's a big difference between doing it physically, which I have not done. The only physical things I've got with ghosts is having my hat knocked off. I've been scratched. I got bruised once, and that's it. Oh, one thing about the Yeti, I either hit my arm on the window, and I think I got hit by him. My arm hurt for about 8 weeks, 7 to 8 weeks, where I was hit. So I actually felt pain in my physical body, even though I was all astral.
But it happened, we can say that this happened to your soul, and your body believed it because you were awake in the dream.
See, Cooper don't believe that you're sending people to hell, he says. My labs, maybe, but sending people to hell, no.
What do you think Eric Cooper does?
I don't know.
He moves people on. He moves spirits on. Yeah. Mostly he does it by talking to them and talking them down and puts them, and they move on automatically.
I got dragged in here. Listen, do you believe in hell as like Dante's Inferno type hell? An everlasting pit of fire of burning in eternity?
Heaven and hell is personal beliefs.
It's personal again. Okay.
Or you live in heaven and hell right now.
Beliefs. What your teachings are, what you believe religiously, it's what you believe.
But do you understand from a vibrational, scientific standpoint that if you're depressed, you're in hell, and that if you're happy, then you're in a higher vibration, which is heaven-like?
I'm in Middle Earth. I'm in between.
Yes, you are.
Well, heaven is what you imagine it. I tell really religious people, Eric Cooper just put in the chat room, he don't move them to heaven or hell. That's the spirit might believe they go to heaven or hell. He moves them over.
To the other side. It's just labels. People are arguing about labels.
Lynn is, Lynn is one of these guys that when you talk about paranormal teams and investigators, they always tell you, make sure you take a team with you. You don't want to go wandering off in that place alone. Not this guy. He'll go to the pits of hell by himself. I have a hard time
finding anybody to work with me here.
I'll go with you anywhere, brother. Look, let's make time and you take me to I'll go with you. We'll make a big deal out of it, actually. We'll videotape it or whatever.
I would love to get you in the Allen House and do a radio show on Saturday night from the Allen House.
Let's do it, brother.
I want to be
down here in Monticello.
Let's do it.
Let me talk to them and see what I can work up. Because I've spent the last 2 Halloweens in a row in the Allen House.
Might have just really messed myself over here. But, yeah, I'm down.
So may I also ask you, do you think the Yeti could have been another person, like you were a werewolf person?
Possibility.
You got to think of it like a virtual game, the astral realm. It's a lot like a virtual game. Because our real life is actually
you can't be confident of what anything happens. I do not trust that H.H. Holmes was actually there. I think he could still be around. He moved on. He was forced to move on.
You were in a soul realm, living in dead commingle.
He faked his own death, and fooled the federal government into thinking he was dead when he was actually alive.
Well, I'm just saying,
so he's very good at faking his own death.
I got to take
Brent and I may not have
moved
moved him on. My next experience was I actually got baptized in a church.
Okay.
A month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Wow!
This church is not associated with major churches. It's not a Baptist, Presbyterian, or Catholic, or da-da-da. It's completely independent church. And Joe, I posted in the chat room an hour and a half ago that you were sounding a lot like our pastor.
Oh, great.
He criticizes religion. Because religion can be twisted to a bad thing, and you have a lot of people twisting that.
Joe said it was a gateway.
He has talked about that in church, saying how bad religion is, and organized religion, and some of the huge churches.
Right.
Yeah, mega churches.
Well, let's tell the story because I got other phone callers trying to get in.
Okay, I understand. Anyway, after I was baptized, I'd hurt myself, so I was resting in the back and got bored and went astral. And I went through blackness, saw a door with red behind a black figure that was standing in it, kept floating up, and went through a purple area.
Oh, wow.
And then went to the blinding white light that people say they when their body has died, they go into the white light.
Those are aura chakra colors in order. Those are the correct chakra colors in order. The red is the root. Then you went to the third eye, I believe. And then you went to the crown chakra.
Yeah, and I was just without pain. I was just without caring. I didn't even want to come back.
That's
and somebody
heaven, my
came
friend.
back there and walked in the room, and I had my guard up with my body. So when I felt her presence, I zipped back in the body so hard, almost jarred me, and I wasn't even sure where I was for a bit.
Yeah, it's called astral whiplash. It can give you a really bad headache, and you got to drink a lot of water.
Yes, and I hadn't been drinking a lot of water, even though I'd just been dipped in it. I did not even know my wife when the minister helped me back out into the main sanctuary and set me down beside my wife. I didn't even know her.
That's pretty fascinating stuff there, brother.
Yeah. So I'm agreeing with Eric. I have no qualms with Eric Cooper. I think he's a great guy. They got a great group. They do great things. It's just a matter of where these people go when you move them on.
All right. Right.
Yeah, and that's a special job of a psychopomp, and not a lot of people are going to get that because it really is a specialized job. And I'd like to thank you for bringing up that you defeated your fear of darkness, because that's what happened to me exactly this week when I saw the little demon ghost zombie boy. I was not afraid, and so I felt like Bruce Lee. It was awesome.
Thanks.
Wow.
Thanks for your
appreciate
story,
you listening to me, Joe Rope.
Absolutely. Keep in touch with me so we can do this thing.
Have a great show, and do not leave this show, please, sir. We all enjoy you on Saturdays, so please stay. You're a great professional guy with a lot to say.
I'm never going to leave radio. I'll tell you that. So there's that.
I just do not leave Saturday nights on this network.
I understand.
But you're just a fantastic guy.
I appreciate your compliments. Thank you so much.
You take care of yourself.
All right, brother. Bye.
Bye-bye.
So whoever that 423 area code is, call back in, because I know you wanted to chime in on this.
The chat is super interesting, too.
The phone line is open right now, 501-777-5631. Something just flew into my eyeball. I'm sorry. This stuff is just hard for me to take in. And you know what's so crazy about this is I've had my own out-of-body experiences. But it's just not... I don't know why I doubt all this stuff so much. Isn't that natural? Or am I just a cynic, maybe?
Well, it's lack of faith, and that's because even though you say you've had a nice life, you must have been traumatized into lack of faith at some point.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we all get that way at some point. Yeah, there you are, 423 area code. They're on the air.
Hey, Joe, good evening. How you doing? This is Tommy.
Hey, what's up, Tommy? Can you hear me?
Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. Yeah, how's everybody tonight? Enjoying your discussion? Wanted to chime in with you guys with Corey Good there. Maybe talk about that for a second, if it's all right.
Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit. We got another caller trying to call in, but you just got on the air, so absolutely. Tell us what you think.
Okay. I wanted to ask you a question real quick, if I could first. I spoke with you about a week ago. I called in, and I just wondered if something happened to my telephone or you hung up on me.
Yeah, I had 4 or 5 people coming in, and I was trying to get the people that were wanting to tell me their experiences in first. No hard feelings or nothing, but the time is limited on here, But tonight, I did tell everybody that I wouldn't do that. So you tell me your opinion about this.
Okay. Yeah, just wanted to check on that. That's cool. Right. Well, I've been following him when this came out. I think David Wilcock helped Corey Good bring his stuff out because Corey wasn't quite as articulate as Corey was. And so I followed the transcripts, and I wanted to ask your guest there if she's read all his transcripts.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have Gaia TV, and I have watched his whole series on the Mars situation and being a super soldier. So I've watched him say it himself.
No. Have you read his transcripts?
Well, I've actually seen him say
transcripts.
No, I mean, I've actually witnessed him say he was a super soldier, too. So if he's writing something different, then why would he say that?
No, I'm not. I'm just asking a question. I haven't got an answer yet. Have you read?
I did say no.
Yeah, she said she had.
Okay, thanks. I understand. And I understand about the mind control. And I'm just pointing these things out. I'm not making anybody right or wrong or putting anybody down. I feel I have a very overactive, discerning mind here, and I don't like to be fooled either. However, like you said, we're dealing with mind control here. David Wilcock was mind controlled. He was part of the Montauk Project. So, I forgive that.
I didn't know that. Where can I look that up?
Not sure where to tell you to
well, email me
that,
or find me. I would like to know more about that, for real.
Well, he was part of the Montauk Project. That's my
Well, I know David Wilcock in real life, so that's really wild.
Yeah. I talked to him the other night.
See? So
he
admits?
About Ascension.
All right, so you guys are all buddies, but what's the point here?
I'm not buddies. I called a show he was on, Jimmy Church's show.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's all. I'm not trying to climb the ladder of any success here with light workers or anything. I'm
That's awesome. I like how you put that. I got you, brother. All right,
cool.
Go ahead.
I feel rushed, Joe. I wish I had more time because this is deep stuff. But anyway, let's see. So yes, the transcripts, when you read something, I haven't seen all of the guy on TVs, and I know what you mean. He's a strange character, but doesn't it take strangeness to, strangeness is more real than the truth?
Well, actually, I'm a very good psychic. I have been professional for many years, and I've been in the room with him, and I've read his body language and his energetic field. So I'm, educated. That's all I'm saying.
I just want to say this without putting anybody down. Everybody is mind controlled. We all are. And
Bob Marley would agree with you. It's called mental slavery. Totally.
Okay, so all I'm saying is that we understand that. So I'm not pointing the finger at the fact that he's been jerked around big time in his mind. It's that the other part that I'm looking at is if you read the transcripts, it's like, holy smokes, nobody could sit around and make this stuff up. It is too like, wow. And so this is where I come to, and he's got so much collaboration with other people, and
yes.
Bob Wood, William Tompkins, and David Wilcock. Regardless of what anybody thinks about anybody's egos, these guys are putting out some stuff. I mean, with the collaboration with William Tompkins and the Secret Space Program with TRW and back then in 47.
Tom DeLonge.
No, I didn't say his name. I'm not.
I did, because he's in with them, the Academy of the Stars. It's all the same thing.
I never hear these guys like David and Corey. They're sort of off on their own deal with a few other people. I don't think Tom DeLonge's in on that gig.
Well, they speak about. Yeah, but they're talking about it.
Yeah, you should hear them talk. I hear Linda Moulton Howe, Grant Cameron. I hear all these people talk about Tom DeLonge, and it's not too favorable, and I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying. But I don't have a believability issue with all this stuff.
So you believe it, though? You believe Corey Good's story that he was a physical not super soldier, but met these beings and all the stuff that he talks about, basically is what you're saying. Because
what
based on the transcripts that he's written and based on the ability of his being able to tell the story, that there's no way that he can make this stuff up.
Yeah, a basketball, soccer ball, whatever size blue light comes in his room in the middle of the night, whenever he's ready, picks him up and takes him. It's just that simple. And nobody believes it. And that's what's going on. This is wild, wild stuff. And
mine is more wild. I had a demonic boogeyman for 19 years. I mean, that's real.
It is wild stuff, but why do we have to believe it? Because it's wild.
You don't. I'm just in favor of, because the reason this is all coming out is because of ascension.
Yes.
And that this is leading up to it. The people, the masses have to wake up, and we're finding out that know these things ahead of time, so some people can expand their minds so they don't blow them completely, scramble them when the stuff goes down with disclosure and arrests and all this kind of stuff, and the change in the dynamics, so we can prepare in the near future, maybe 5 or 10 years, for an ascension event where we get a solar flash. Okay.
Tell us about ascension, please. The Buddhists have written about this for thousands of years, but you tell us what you know through Corey.
I'm not saying what Corey said so much about it. That's what the Sphere Being Alliance was telling, just sort of conveying. And he was going to these meetings, these intergalactic, congressional, whatever meetings with all these beings, and these experiences are absolutely, I don't have a problem believing anything because I know everything is turned around.
Well, I understand that, but you do have a problem problem with saying it because you just hesitated with saying absolutely real just then because I think you're afraid of being judged for saying that. And what I want you to understand is
we're not judging.
What I want you to understand is no one's going to judge you for believing in what Corey Good's saying. But what I'm saying is I question what he's saying. I don't believe it just because the story is very good. I've read a lot of science fiction that's better than his story, and it's in fact fiction.
If I told you I was the princess of Sirius, would you believe me?
No.
Sure. Why not?
He would. He would believe me.
I wouldn't.
That's okay, Joe. You'll find out. But how has his teachings enriched your life? That's what I want to know. How has it enriched your soul? Because that's the stuff. That's the point.
It's let's see. Okay, that's an interesting question. He is. I wanted to see if he was coming from the place that we want to know about, and that is he going to advance us? And in part, he is playing is just to convey the sort of intergalactic message down here with help with David. It's not a one-man show, of course. It takes all of us, and he's just one part. I'm not picking that guy out. There's many of others with many other stories. I know he's not doing Commerce Getting Rich. Neither is David Wilcock. These guys are working hard, putting out some very interesting things. Yes,
they work very hard. They really do.
He's had some problems with mind control and problems with the black guys, the black hats, and all of these.
But he never went through recovery from his mind control. And you can say that the whole world is mind controlled, but we weren't brought into a lab. We were not hacked. We were not bifurcated, which is what they do. They shatter the personality. So you're really glossing over the intensity of what government mind control is.
No, I feel the pain. I feel what you're saying. I don't understand it. I don't want to.
He must be under mind control still because he has no emotion. Someone who has broken their control goes through a long period of depression, sadness, crying, and anger.
Is that why the guy got mad because that apparently he didn't get the pavilion he wanted at Contact in the Desert? Apparently, there's people out there that want to just get media passes, and he's complaining because he didn't get the right pavilion, so they accommodated the man. These are the things I have a problem with, and I'm not afraid to put it out on Front Street. It's just like when the preacher tells God he needs a new plane. When you get enough followers, they'll believe anything you say. And I think when it comes to that point, you have a responsibility, a big responsibility to not prove it scientifically. That's not what I'm saying. But to substantiate the claims that you are saying. You can't just, unless you just are an extreme sociopath and have no sense of what you're actually doing to people. That's the problem I have with it.
Yeah, I don't think, right. I understand that.
We shouldn't be following anyone.
And that's what everybody goes sideways on, is not having any proof. And this is one of those things where you got to stretch your mind and yay or nay, Some do, some don't. It's too incredulous to wrap their heads around. I don't have a problem with it. I know these guys are all over the place. They're all over the place. Everything you can imagine has already been done. Whatever you hear is real, and that's why nobody believes it, and they have problems with it, because it's all real. It's so multi. It just makes your head spin, and that's why there's no disclosure right now, because it's going to be too hard on the masses of people who cannot expand their minds beyond going to work and watching TV and doing it all over again.
You could always make coloring books and teach them nursery rhymes, right?
That's what we're doing. We're going to get into music and do it that way, yeah.
Anyway, I appreciate the call, brother, but we do gotta let this one go. I appreciate it, Tommy.
And I appreciate you have a different opinion. I like that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you,
brother. It's been fun, guys. Bye-bye. Thanks a lot. Okay.
Yeah, see, I'm not here to bash. I'm not here to bash anybody. But maybe
some people actually love Corey Good, like emotionally love him, and I don't mean to hurt those people's feelings at all.
Well, look, there's people that are doing their jobs of investigation, and what I would say is this. Back here behind this microphone, all I can do is tell you what I think and the studies that I've done about it. I feel that the truth is going to come to light. Period. I feel there's enough people out there doing that. So
Led Zeppelin told us that it would. This is the time, the people we've been waiting for, the times we've been waiting for. And what is this song? All will be revealed is what Led Zeppelin said. That's where we're at. We're at that time. And that's why it's getting exciting. Aren't you excited?
Some people do need a Messiah. That's right, Dennis. You know, and
if you want a Messiah, look inside you.
I think about it. It's about validating beliefs. And that's what a lot of this is.
You have to get beyond validation because you are still your parents' child if you need validation from anyone.
Where do you say, you know? So, anyway, what were we talking about before you called? Somebody else was trying to call in, too. You could do it. I think it was like a 443 area code. It might have been about the astral travel thing. But, look, we have to question this stuff is what I'm saying. There's not enough people doing it. You can't just let people go around and tell you that they're a part of a secret space program and they've talked to blue chickens and sell millions of dollars worth of merchandise and get millions of people following them without substantiating what they're saying. We don't allow our politicians to do it. We raise all kinds of hell when they do it, and we don't allow it. We won't tolerate it. I mean, we'll get on internet. Hold on just a second. We'll get into internet fights about it. And we won't tolerate that, but when it comes to this kind of stuff, this unicorn stuff, magic and mysticism and all that, we'll jump on it because it's a lot better than the rest of the world. It's a lot better than politics. It's better than the materialism of the world, and it's nice to know that these things are so fantastic and they really exist. And I'll tell you that some of it does, but I'm not going to jump ship and go all the way just because some guy's good at writing a story. That ain't going to happen to me, and I don't think you should. And I think when you're selling millions of dollars worth of merchandise and you have millions of followers, if you do not care about that, then you've got the problem. It's one thing for me to say on the show, there's probably like a few hundred people listening, maybe, what I believe. But when it starts to become mass quantities of people and I'm selling you stuff, I feel a responsibility to substantiate my belief. Call me crazy, but that's how I feel.
Well, I got that loud and clear. How's the chat feeling about it?
The chats, they've got, like Dennis says, everybody needs a Messiah, right? You know, Pleiades and blue chickens and all this stuff. I mean,
Jesus taught people not to follow people. Don't follow me. Do what I do. Do what I do.
It doesn't mean they don't exist. It just means, to me, it's important to know about it, not just believe it. That's important.
That's
belief
your own
is a
experience.
spiritual thing.
Belief has a lot to do with faith, but your own experience is gnosis, which is
knowing
proof. Yeah,
where it comes from. Like I know that there is a spiritual realm. I know that you can have an out of body experience. Do I know that happens when you die? No, I don't. I don't know that. I just know that while I'm in this body, it does happen. Can I assume that it happens? Yeah. But I'm not going to build a cult based on my assumptions. You understand where I'm coming from?
You don't know it, but I would say you just don't remember yet.
I hear you.
Because there is an answer. And you don't have to wait to die physically to die spiritually, which is the death of the ego.
So what I'm saying is the least this guy can do is come on shows where he's going to be questioned a little bit. Not the shows that are going to promote him and, it's going to be really comfortable for him.
Well, he doesn't do that. And he tried to sue the dark journalists, tried to take him to court. I mean, it was really threatening in the real world. So it wasn't a dog and pony show. It was a fight. That was real stuff.
But I'm also not saying this. I'm not saying that what if something about his story is true? Then we do need to know that.
I have researched government mind control programs. I have no doubt that what he thinks he's saying, he might believe. But people haven't been educated about what government mind control really is.
It's definitely a real thing. But
this is where the conspiracy world is coming in with the UFO world. Actually, when you look at Corey Goode that way, he's making us argue with each other so that we will bond.
You think that's what he's doing?
Not purposefully, but he's a tool. on several levels, actually. But in the big game of things, this is what I don't think you see is the matrix of it all. People who are really popular, making lots of money with lots of followers, are usually not very good people. People who are politicians are usually not very good people. People in power, in general, evil rises to the top in this world for now. That's the way it's been.
I was on a podcast talking about this the other day, actually. They invited me on as a guest. A podcast is called Healers and Hellraisers, and what they do is it's a pretty cool idea, actually. I'm going to put them on the network, but so they interview people that are on the light side of things, healers, people that like us, I guess you could say, that are interested in spiritual ascension, that are helping even religious people, and then they also interview the dark side. Like people that were mass murderers or people that have been convicted of crimes, gangsters, mobsters, to show you the polar side of all this. And I thought, that is great. That's such a great thing.
Sounds amazing. Yeah.
And I don't know where I was going with this, but we had talked about this stuff on that show. So I can't wait till it comes out. You guys need to hear it.
Yeah. And in the chat, they're talking about innocence and just going with your intuition, just trusting, having faith, and playing like a game with your intuition and being more like a child and less like a stressed out freaking adult. And when you get more childlike, you get more into your heart and things become more playful.
Sure.
And you're not so scared of the boogeyman anymore. I'll tell you that.
Well,
because you can laugh at him.
Do you have any kids?
Yeah,
Personal
I have
question.
a son. Dylan, yes.
My son, I've learned that he gets incredibly addicted to fantasy realms, like these video games, for example.
Well, he is astral traveling through a video game.
He's astral traveling with his thumbs, and his body's deteriorating. Yeah. You see?
Well,
so,
yes, I do understand that.
And his grades have dropped.
That is an addiction. That's an addiction out of depression. But you work too hard, Dad. I mean, we could see that.
No, I'm just saying his grades have dropped. What I'm saying is I'm worried about the vulnerability. I hate those big words. I can't say them very well. But the vulnerability of the youth, because they're willing to. We're all willing to go along with whatever trend because it's really cool. But
I'm not one of those people.
You got to understand where I'm coming from. If I see a blue chicken, I promise you guys, I will tell you. I don't care if you believe me or not. That's why I'm willing to talk to him, because I would be one of those guys. I would tell everybody this stuff. I would have to, wouldn't you? Like if you had
I'd be like a trailer park chick.
Yeah,
like, oh my gosh,
and
and then the
everybody.
UFO came. I would. But I am already you talk about your experiences. They're just not this kind.
Right. But just with this little audience we have here, I'm very careful about what I want people to think based on what I don't want anybody to think or believe anything I'm saying. And that's what I respect about a lot of people. It's like, look, if you don't believe me, you're going to have your own experience, and that's fine. When you hear people say, don't take my word for it, go study the truth, this and that, you're not getting that from these people. And a lot of you think that, you're just jealous because they're successful in making money. No. None of us know what it's like to. There's a lot of you out there, actually. I don't know you personally, some of you, but I know for a fact that you say that you won't be evil if you had $1 million. Well, have you tasted that kind of power? Do you really know who you would become when you start tasting that kind of money?
Or prestige. Even like I had an occult shop with a huge coven, a whole community. I was kind of like queen of the community. And I became bitchy because I wasn't getting my needs met. So I became a jerk.
No.
And that wasn't about money. It was just about all those people. That's killed my ego, thank God.
I just think there's people out there that are trying to find the real answers. And
what is real, Joe? In a Buddhist sense?
I'm not talking about a spiritual Buddhist metaphorical sense, okay? I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about real answers. That's why I enjoy talking to scientists too, not just the metaphysical realm. Because
what is real, though? Literally.
It's all real to me. The spiritual realm is real to me, and this world is real. Everybody wants to think these metaphysical and spiritual realms are better than life. How do you know life isn't the greatest gift that the universe gives you, has to offer? This physical realm.
It grows your soul. You can't really grow your soul when you're not on an active school planet. So coming here really does change us in amazing ways.
That's like those people that say, you know, well, show me normal. What is normal? I'm not talking about normality.
Well, I'm saying what you feel with your five senses, you know there's a world beyond that. So you're not stuck in ego in that sense. You're not just feeding these five senses.
Yeah. And we can speculate till the cows come home. But I feel like what I'm saying is I feel like knowing is going to get us further.
Well, I wish that you had a more of an open mind for philosophy, which is just chewing on things, just discussing things, being in the wonder and open to intuition.
I do have an open mind for philosophy. I consider myself a philosopher, actually.
You just said you want hard, cold answers and that you don't
Absolutely.
like
And most of the philosophers, they would speculate, but they also investigated. They just didn't talk about nature. They investigated it. They wrote many books about it. That's what I'm talking about, not just speculating.
All great artists study nature. All great philosophers study nature. It's the truth.
But I have problems with people that have all the answers to everything, too, because I don't believe them. If you're one of those type of people or you've got all the answers to everything, you lack humanity to me, and I have a hard time believing you. And that's no offense to you, Tommy. You sound like you're very confident about what you believe. But if you're not questioning your own thoughts or your own reality or what you're believing sometimes, then I don't think that's the right way to go about things. I think, for instance, when I wanted to learn about astral travel, you have to understand I didn't believe in it. I didn't think it was real, but I wanted to know. And I bought every book there was to try to figure it out. I did every method there was to figure it out, and it happened. Now I know, and now I talk about it. Would I sell you a book about astrology and millions of dollars worth of product? Would I go to conferences and talk about it? Absolutely. Could I show you how to do it? Yes. I'm that confident in that. I feel responsible enough I could do that. But if I say that there's blue chickens and Palladians and all this other stuff and nothing's really real, so make sure it doesn't really matter anyways, but spend your money here, I'm sorry. I'm not going down that road. That's what frustrates me.
Well, I think most of us aren't looking at the matrix system and saying they're making all this money. We're looking at their stories. We're looking in their eyes. And we're saying, do I feel this? And you go with what you feel.
Yeah, just like truth is what you believe, right?
The thing is that people are being pushed into popularity, and that's engineered.
You hear a lot of people that don't like Crowley talk like Crowley, though. Truth is what you believe. It's all about what your actual truth. It doesn't matter. No, there's fundamental natural truths, and there really is karma. And I think it's all going to take care of itself,
Yeah, and like Crowley, he was into sex with kids, dude. He would totally be Pizzagate right now. He was one of those people.
But I can tell you this, next weekend, we are going to talk to Marla. She's such a cool chick. And she's been through some of this stuff. And I believe she's the real deal. I know you got some high opinions of her too, Cor. I can't wait to talk to her again.
I recently read her new book, American Psychic, and I definitely recommend it to your listening audience, and they'll hear about it next week. But Marla, she's a gem. I think she's part of the white college. I've discussed it with her, and I believe she agrees.
We're going to get out of here. This was one crazy night. I have to apologize about the mishaps and unorganization, but you know what? I'm only sorry to a certain extent. But it's been fun. It's been a really cool night. And I can't wait to see you guys again next Saturday. And don't worry, Lynn, I'm not going anywhere. But you do need to understand that everything eventually ends. Nothing lasts forever. But we'll do this.
This too shall pass.
That's right. We're going to do this thing as long as we can. Cor, thank you for coming on the show. It's been fun.
Thanks,
I appreciate it.
Thanks, callers. Thanks, chat.
I love each and every one of you guys. Thanks for calling in. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next Saturday night.
In their sleep since yesterday, they stopped counting by the last mile. darkest of our days. And I crossed all the lines we had drawn, cut all the ties we had formed.